Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Anyone that's here, let's just check it's looking good. Oh, look at those beautiful, handsome faces on screen right now. Yo. Hello. How is everybody doing this evening? How you all doing?
I'm stuck.
Yeah, I'm frozen.
I'm frozen.
We're both frozen. And I've got like this.
So what you need to do, man, is you need to keep the Skype screen. You can't minimize Skype screen.
No, don't worry.
Otherwise, it freezes us.
You're all.
Hey, I look better now.
You're
What's
all
up, guys?
good. Don't worry. That was a temporary issue, not a big issue. Right. Good. Hello. Welcome to Addicted Podcast, episode number 36. We're going to start off as always. If we're going to do the usual sound testing, I imagine Drones will. Saul is going to have a fit when he sees Drones. His name is lower than everybody else's. His OCD will start twitching. So let me fix that now. Is that better?
Yeah.
No, it's good. Leave it.
Are you
No.
There we go. Better. A little bit to the right.
But
yeah.
by the way, let me throw it out there. If any of the developers of OBS are out there, we would love a snap to grid option for everything.
Oh yes, yes. It would. Well, just
look us up. Just saying.
It would be nice to, and like when you put things to scale, like it would be nice just to be able to have out, like, I don't know, some sort of lines so I can get everything lined up, like so they're all flat next to each other.
A grid to snap to.
All the names.
Grid.
The same line would be nice. That would be good. I'd be happy with that. Yes. So how are we all doing? It's oh wow. Well, in the world of Star Citizen. It has been interesting, hasn't it, over the last couple of weeks?
Oh, it has been. Can you do me one favor, man?
Yes, mate.
Can you flip me horizontally? Then I'm completely happy. Sorry about that. I'm looking to the outside again.
Flip you?
Yeah,
I have a trick for that. I can actually just spin my monitor, so you can leave them like that. I'll just turn it.
How's that?
Sorry, man.
I fucking hate you right now.
There we go.
We're going to be having open trials for Saul's position, I think, this week. So
dear.
unhappy.
There we go.
Live editing. So yeah. So by the way, so Bio can't make it again this week. Bless him. Desperately wants to,
poor
but
guy, man.
If we had him on here, you would all be.
This is my audition for that
ill.
spot, right?
Yes, that's right. You would all be violently ill. Just quickly another edit on Drones because he's made. Yeah, we'd all be violently ill because he's got a horrendous cold. Bless him. He picked up, anyone that's got kids knows that basically children seem to be the harbinger of death and disease, and they bring that stuff home with them. So yeah, he's unfortunately he's sick this week, but he should be back next week. So
man, sorry to ask. One more thing, man. Move the inside screen things a bit to the right, man.
What are you talking about?
You see behind us the thingies.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Have you touched something? Have you clicked on something?
Like that,
I think you moved the overlay.
I did, yeah.
There you go.
Stop touching shit.
I'm just going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. So what are we drinking, boys, tonight?
Let drone start.
Guinness. Check him out. Getting all Irish on us.
Guinness, man. I'm a Guinness man. I'm part Irish.
I got a Peroni.
And I'm drinking French wine. It is a product of France, obviously.
Although I will say
it's cheap shit.
I do believe that this is all made currently in Canada.
Is it really?
Yeah, a lot of it is.
That sounds
same
terrible.
like stuff, but I'll have to look it up. But I read it somewhere.
That's yeah. Okay. No good. So we have well, let's just go around the blocks. How's your week been? So we'll start off with Drones as the guest. We'll start with you first, sir. How's your week been? What you've been up to? What you've been doing in the world of stars? I mean, you've been back recently streaming again because you had 2 weeks off. I know that much for your movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a couple of weeks away from streaming to move. It was supposed to be like a week is what I'd planned for, but I slammed the U-Haul into the back of a Jetta and that kind of slowed down the pace of the move just a little bit. And things didn't go quite so well. As far as like you expect things to happen a certain way and then the whole plan gets shot to hell. So between that and the day job, it's kept me pretty tied up. In the middle of all that, I've been working on building a new IRL rig for going out to like the Bar Citizens, the Twitch meetups, the things I like to, and hopefully I'll have it fully prepared for TwitchCon soon. We'll see.
When's TwitchCon?
October 19th through the 20 something.
You got a bit of time then.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There you go. There's the man himself, Biomechanical, speaking.
Hey.
He's going to return. The great return shall be from Biomechanical next week, hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, cool. And so what's the main games that you play at the moment then, Drones?
Star Citizen, Hellion, Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers. Okay. Cool.
Just mix it up.
You have to at the moment, don't you? Really? I'd love to stream and be all just Star Citizen all the time, but
I would too. But it's like I've done so much of making my own content that it's like it comes a point where it's like I need content in the game to make more content.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I hate to say that, but it's a brutal time.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we all know it's like nearly 12 months of the same pretty much 12 months of the same, missions almost, and just the whole game format. So it's tough. It's really tough. Saul, how about yourself, mate? What you been up to?
Well, you know what? The steering wheel dramas, return to shop, getting a new steering wheel, hopefully some more iRacing over the course of this week.
Yeah.
Some Star Citizen on the stream again as well. But mostly it will be racing, I think, till we get, as you say, the content is, and as Drone says as well, it's hard to create content at the moment. It's hard to push myself to go and play Star Citizen as well at the moment, and I don't think I can bring the quality content that I used to do while we're waiting for 3.0. So hopefully we get 3.0 soon. I will still be doing some dogfighting, etc., but a lot less than what I used to do, when we did it on a daily basis. So more racing, a bit less dogfighting, and hopefully soon we get some nice content to play with. Soon trademark, let's call it that way. What about yourself?
Good. Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to fix this. Someone said I'm sounding a bit whispery, which is kind of a bit weird because he's normally really loud. Or I'm just going to check that my Skype hasn't changed its settings because there's like an options button, isn't there, where you can check your sound.
It likes to do that.
Where is it? Which one is it again to stop it from doing that?
I can't remember, but I know it's like
go to your audio options and then automatically adjust.
Well, that's off, so that's okay still. So
I think you just need to up your volume a bit on the.
Talk louder.
On the Discord?
No, just on your feed into the stream.
Oh, OBS.
For us, you're good, so you want to up OBS a bit. Yeah. But I have you turned up anyway because you're always a bit soft for me. So
I'm a little voice,
quiet
voice.
I got you on 150 anyway, so.
Right.
You're normally
Cublog,
good to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
Right. Yeah, I'll try and speak up a bit. So yeah, I mean, I've been just like yourself. I mean, streaming Star Citizen, tons and tons of content and playing and just messing around with loads of other streamers when I'm kind of free, which has been great. Me and Toby have been having a really good time and laugh. If anyone watches Toby streams and just generally streamers in general, I've just been hanging out with a lot as when I don't stream myself. Captain's Table was really good fun on Saturday night where Saul joined me on with Astropub, which if you didn't see, you can catch it up on YouTube. That was really good fun. I enjoyed that. It was nice to talk it's kind of funny when you do that show and then I have to do a Monday show and I'm kind of like, shit, I've talked about half the stuff that I was going to talk about on the podcast.
Notebook there. You got your little notebook there.
I have my notebook.
Sure, you have enough information to share with us.
Yeah. No, exactly. So it's been good. It's been good. And then I've been doing so I have to murder Saul because he and Miz both got me into this American trucking simulator game.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I know.
No, madness.
Shoot me.
No.
Shoot me right now.
I don't know you.
I know. I don't know myself.
Listen,
I woke up.
If you're into that sort of games, I think it's a fun game. I can understand that people that are completely not into that sort of stuff don't like it at all. It's a very niche market for these truck simulator, car mechanic simulator. It's a very niche market. Although I bought into the Kickstarter of Gold Rush, the game, and it's similar. So I like that sort of niche, weird games. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know if you've seen the Gold Rush on the TV, drones, where in Alaska they do the gold mining.
Yeah.
They're making a game about it now, so it's pretty cool. You could buy in, I think, for £20 or for $15. You could buy in and. They raised enough money and they're going to develop it now.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. It's very cool. It's relaxed to play. It is, Bok. It is. It's a very relaxing game, the whole kind of simulator. I mean, I was even looking at the farming simulator as well the other day. I was kind of going, ooh, I wonder if that's going to be quite good to play as well. Just something, just because, I mean, when you stream, I mean, we got three streamers here who'll know what I'm talking about. When you stream, you do get... it's pretty intense. It can be quite tiring, and after a while, you just want to kind of just chill,
Yeah,
and that's what's great.
Hellion, it's very chill.
Yeah, Hellion is chill. It's very similar.
Super
I think if
chill.
you want to definitely check out MK4 Madness, he's mods. He mainly streams farming simulator, so you can get a bit of an idea of what it is and how it plays. And he's really into the farming simulator game, so definitely check him out.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of the YouTube videos, obviously, and then the Steam trailer and stuff, and I checked that out, and I was kind of like, ooh, okay, but I was very uninterested to start with, but then now that I've played the American Trucker and kind of gone, hey, this is actually pretty cool, very relaxing, and I don't really have to stress too much.
The sim racing is completely the other side.
More intense, is it, because of steering?
Yeah, but especially you have a rating. It's like real racing, so you have a safety rating. So you have to you can't bump into people, etc. So but it's a good way of intense. I love it, man. It gets your blood going, man. Well, and hopefully we see that soon with the Star Citizen again, because I used to have that with Star Citizen.
It got me thinking, because
I think for me now, I want to see more now. I'm ready for more.
Yeah, it got me thinking, because I was like, well, I'm obviously got my main character, which is all PvP and, the intensity of combat and fighting and stuff like that. And, and that is intense. I mean, if anyone's played PUBG will understand, with PUBG, it's the same kind of system in a way. Like, you got one life, your life is very important. And when you get down to that last 10 people in a circle that's closing, your heart rate's going through the roof, and you're intense. It's intense. It's super intense. And I think Star Citizen could have a bit more of that once we get Death of a Spaceman into the game. those kind of mechanics, the fighting and stuff's going to have real consequence and real meaning. And it's going to be I mean, even when we played 2.5 with drones and stuff, I remember when we used to do like attacking Korea and stuff, there was that.
Those were good times.
That was fun, but there was that intensity that you had when you knew that if you died, you would be spawning back at Hex or back at Port Olisar, have to go respawn your ship, get back in your ship, fly back again. There was a real length of time there, which was a bit of a consequence. Not the same as a Death as a Spaceman, but you didn't want to die, so it added an extra level of intensity. Whereas when you play Star Marine, it's like dead. Okay, I'll just got 10 seconds to respawn and then I'm back again. It's like it's a different type of game.
So true.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. And then it did get me thinking about having an extra character so that I could do the trucking and the more chilled. You know what I mean? Because that's so intense. I could do the more chilled out type of the game, you know, like the freighting or the farming or
exactly.
I kind of feel I can't do that intensity all the time. I'm going to want to just explore. That's why I want the Carrack. It's my exploration ship.
Yes,
I really can't wait for these mechanics madness. You know, you will see so. And we've discussed it a couple of times. You know, we don't always agree on this point, I think, but you will see so much different sorts of gameplay when these sort of mechanics come into the game. You know, and
they can't come soon enough.
Oh no! I wish very soon, but obviously when the game is not full release, that you can't put that mechanic in because you know the lives will be counting down. But I think it's tough, you know, but. It's going to create a whole different game than it is now, and only for the better, I think.
I hope so. I hope that. I mean, there's going to be. I think what you're going to have is there will be a little people who are going to get annoyed as we go along. You know, naturally, there's people just get upset about if you change anything. You know, oh, they've taken the toilets away from the Cutlass. This is an outrage. Demand to change back again. You know, they've taken away the HUDs from the Gladius. Oh, it's terrible. Who would do such a thing? Well, those people, you know, terrible people. But but you know, for every small change that they do, so there will be people like with Death of the Spaceman. And the whole idea of permadeath and permanent cost things, I'm really that could be really painful, and quite a lot of people could get really upset with that because we've been playing a lot of the game as it is now with the idea of Death of the Spaceman, but maybe people don't quite realize what that's going. You know, what I mean, you kind of know. It's like having a kid. You kind of know that it's going to be really horrible, but until you actually have a kid and you have a little baby and you have that first month of pain, you don't really know it. It's like, it's kind of, your friends say, oh yeah, you're in front, you know, the people that have had it say, oh, you're in, you go, yeah, it's going to be hard. But then you just think, oh, I'll be all right. I'll figure it out. And I think that could be the same with Death of the Spaceman. It could be that whole...
Yeah. The initial thing.
The initial pain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't see it as a pain. I think it will be... We and for all types of players as well, you know, we know it, and we've seen a lot of people moaning about the fact that they constantly get shot, but also for the other side of the medallion, for the fighters itself, is going to be, you're going to make way different decisions when your lives are limited in a game than when there's no consequences and you can just do everything. So from both sides of that thing, I don't want to call it Care Bear, but from the side of the people that are less interested in PvP, but also from the side of the people that are very interested in PvP, it's going to make very contrasting gameplay and very different gameplay than we have now, I think, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're going to have slower will be I'm expecting slower kind of gameplay mechanics than even now.
Yeah,
but
more running, more ditching, you know, more like, okay, I have choice now. I'm either going to stay here or I'm going to lose a life or I'm going to go. And the same accounts for example, the aggressor, you know, am I going to stay here where I have a chance that his buddies come in and get me, or, you know, it's going to make for so many different gameplay scenarios, and that then you will get the proper mechanics of someone, you know, flying a logistics ship and saying, okay, I need to get the hell out of here, or I'm going to counterattack the aggressor, you know, and the aggressor has the same thing. Is his backup coming soon? Can I stay? You know, it's going to make for very interesting gameplay and for very tactical and smart gameplay at the end of the day as well.
Yeah. I've always said that the best weapon in any side of kind of conflict is you know, what's between your ears, effectively your brain. You know, if you can exercise that the most and have knowledge and information. Zach always says it. Me and him always chat about it, and he's always, the more information and knowledge you have in a combat situation, the better you'll be, and vice versa. The more information you have as a Care Bear type of pilot, or special snowflake player, or freight hauler, or whatever you want to play as a farmer, the more information you have, the more efficient you'll be at making money, the better you'll be able to understand transport routes, the better you'll be able to defend yourself if you also get pirates.
Do you think Geek is going to be a farmer in this game, DrDronez?
Who's that? Who?
What? Do you think Geek the Freak will be a farmer in Star Citizen?
Geek the Freak?
I think he will probably lean more towards like the piracy side of things. I don't think he's going to be Care Bear.
No.
I don't think, but I don't know.
Who here is going to have multiple accounts? Who's going to have multiple accounts? Yeah,
for sure.
And chat as well.
As a streamer,
you can all put your hand up.
You know, we had a discussion 2 weeks ago. I think as a streamer, it's good to have that. You have your main account and I always said it, and I said it to my mates. streaming an MMO, what it really is hard because you have politics involved, you have guilds involved, you have free companies and companies involved. It's pretty hard to show all the content of your main account. You know, it's some things you don't want to be shown, and chats you don't want to be heard, especially with the type of open world PvP gameplay that we have.
Or what about the times you just want to play and be left alone? Because
exactly,
I get like that. I get times where I want to shut everybody out and I just want to play the damn game.
Yeah,
there are times like that.
I think especially for the bigger streamers, you know, I see my. I can see for the bigger streamers like, Board, WTF, they will probably have to do it because they have constantly fans of them, but in a good way, but also in a bad way, probably, that are constantly on their case. And so what Drone says, there are days, you know, you just want to be fucking left alone, you know, and you just want to chill and be anonymous. And
definitely. So I'm going to have a look at the thing. So you'll see the picture I have here. I've decided to use as a background for today's thing because everybody's been talking about the 600i, and I thought
I was surprised, man, that you had an 8 on the back of the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I wanted to. This is a picture. I think it was recently on Reddit, like the other day, whatever. Someone's done a beautiful drawing of the 890, and I was like, let's just have a little reminder of what that is again, just to kind of, because I was like, the 600 is nice, okay, and this is the. And I was like, but the 890 is, you know...
It's a super yacht, basically.
The 890 is...
That's how I see it. I don't know if you see those big-ass yachts and those multimillionaires in Monaco have...
Well, this is it. I wanted to go from a different angle, okay? So I've been very critical of the 600i, okay? I've been very critical of the 600i. I personally don't quite understand... where it fits, what the point is. I don't get the luxury side of it. I think it's overpriced, all this stuff. But then I was like, do you know what? Let's flip this around. That's my immediate natural emotional response to the ship. Let's see if we can find a way to justify this ship. Let's see, is there a way of saying to people, is the 600i worthy of, you know, how can we make the 600i something that's good in the game that we would enjoy? And I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to bring up some pictures and some conversations, and I also want to talk about what luxury is.
Exactly. If I can jump into that immediately, man. So we touched shortly or briefly on it on the captain's table on Saturday as well. I think everyone has a different play style, you know, and everyone plays an MMO for a different reason. So, for example, it's just my guess, you play this game because you like the fighting, you know what I mean, for example. If I look at myself, I like to play this game in the future of mechanics that are not there yet, you know. I'm fighting now because that's the only thing.
Same here.
And Drones wants to be a medic, you know what I mean? So yes. I think everyone plays an MMO in a different way, for example, and it will come to a point you will get a natural economy in this game, you know what I mean? And it's the same as in life, you know. I can drive now, for example, a BMW, nice and standard, you know, it brings me where I need to be. But what if I had tons of money, Madness?
Yeah,
and it's something I thought about over the weekend when we had the discussion on Saturday. What are you going to do when you have tons of money? People do different things. Some people give it away. Some people are buying very expensive cars because they think, oh, I like this. You know, I always wanted a Ferrari. I always wanted a Bentley. I always wanted a Rolls Royce.
Right.
And I think you have to see this in a similar way. You know, people want this because this is a luxury item, just like in real life. You know, and I think this is a great thing to hang out with your mates, to give parties on, and then you go more towards the role-playing side of the game, which is going to be a massive part of this game. It's already there, you know, because of the limited content we have. We are, in definition, already role players. You know, look at Drones when he was with Gundam at Korea, when they were saying, okay, we are Korea security, nobody's getting in, you know, everything that comes clear. Yep. Cinch does it, Synchronizers Corporation does it, you know, the role play is such a massive part of this game, and that's what I like about these things, and that's why I think you see these kind of ships, you know, that are catered towards luxury, catered towards military style, catered towards civilian style, just like in real life. I say, I don't know how you guys. That's what I thought about it, man. It's really got me thinking.
Yeah, well, this is it. I think that this is it's like it's very easy and very quick, and my immediate response was, you know, this is a pile of shit, you know, like it doesn't justify.
That's what got me going, man.
doesn't justify its. I'm going to bring up a video of it just so we're talking about it.
But
So
what
we
I
can talk
think you
about
need
it.
to remember is that not everyone plays in a similar playstyle as you do. And I have the same, I sometimes think, how many more combat ships do we need? You know what I mean? But some people think, we don't have enough. But it's just for that.
I think we don't have enough non-combat ships.
Exactly. I totally agree.
I don't think we have enough non-combat.
Snuffbox says, hang on, wait.
Merchants, man. I can see,
Snuffbox, hang on, Soul, hang on. Snuffbox says, I like to think of Star Citizen ships as women's shoes. Lots of women buy shoes they don't need or will ever use. They will justify the purchase the same way backers justify ship purchases. Biggest difference is women's shoes are more useful than some of the ships we justify to buy.
Well, I don't
know.
Agree with Snuffbox there, because that's what I'm saying. I could be saying, okay, the 15th of July is my birthday. Drones, Madness, Bio, Miz, Ryan. Let's all just hang out on my 600i or on my 890 jump and let's just chill. You know what I mean? And it's the same way I see it as cars. You know what I mean? Or houses, big houses. You don't necessarily need it. I live in a 5x5 apartment. I got everything I need. But if you have that money, it's human nature to wanting to move up that chain. I think you know what I mean. It's the same with an Endeavor, for example.
So I'm going to show you just.
You always want to get that next level up there. You know.
Yeah, just to kind of stop you in your tracks.
No, of course.
So that's the 600 next to the Connie.
Yes, I like that.
So you can kind of the Aquila, should I say? So that's next to the Aquila. It's just the Andromeda. No, it's just the Andromeda because it's not the.
Yeah. It has a similar width to a Starfarer by the looks of it.
It is damn sexy looking spaceship, though.
It's beautiful.
It is lovely. Yeah. Lovely lines. I mean, when I saw it, I loved the look of it.
Game, but I still think it's design-wise
it is
one of the better-looking ships, together with the 890 jump.
I still want one just because I want to have it in my hangar, but I'm not going to pay £400 of real money for it.
That's what I mean.
I plan to steal one from somebody.
Yeah, but I do just think it's gorgeous. Now, I'm just going to bring up because people, they compare it to a car. I ain't comparing it to a car. I compare it to this type of vehicle, which you'll see in a second, which is the boats. And the reason why I say that is because this is this is a luxury item. So if you were to if we imagine what, because I'm going to go flick through some pictures of this is like a luxury yacht from Riva guys. This is like their middle. This is like an 82 foot, I think it is, kind of thing. And I imagine because the 890 is kind of the 890 is like a super yacht, you know what I mean? Whereas this is kind of like the 600i is like this, where I was thinking, you can get your family on board with you. You can get your mates on the back. You can have a good meal and just hang out, in space or on the planet or whatever.
What I think this is you don't need a fifth.
I can't hear you. You keep breaking up, dude.
I keep breaking up.
Yeah, you keep losing you.
Open your ears.
Discord. No, Discord keeps cutting you out.
It's always the same with these Discords. Well, it's a bit of a mid-range luxury thing, Madness. You have the Phoenix, I think, on the bottom range, which is still an expensive ship, and you have this one in the mid-range and the 890 in the top range. So, but what I think people must not forget, and I think you guys agree with me on this one, is that you're buying into the development of the game at the moment. And it's what Astor said on Saturday. They put these prices in there to keep these ships limited. The 890, I think there were only 890 available in the first place, 890. So you'll have a ship that not everyone has. Yeah. And I think that is, eventually we can build these ships in game. That's what I'm going to wait for. This is one of the ships that I want to build in game eventually.
Yeah.
Because I think already for the playstyle that I want, it's already catered by the Banu Merchantman. You know what I mean? So I won't necessarily, and I think it will have a similar function as this for me.
Do you know what?
We'll still be hanging out on the ship.
It's this for me is like I feel like if I was to be like Pablo Escobar's, you know what I mean?
Yes.
If I'm the top Don pirate, I'm the top Don pirate in the game, and all the rest of it. I'm going to want to have all of the pointless ships that look beautiful and cost an absolute fortune.
But that's what I'm saying.
In the game, at the moment, this is where it frustrates me because it's kind of like I get why they want to sell it to you guys, but then a part of me is kind of like it's not. This is where I agree with Nubify in
You
terms
want
of virtual
diversity,
luxury.
though, Madness.
No, and I understand diversity.
If
I
we
get
only
it. I
have
get
10
it.
ships,
I get it.
if we only would have 10 ships and 3 for each role, 2 for each role, people would be complaining, "Oh, we only have 2 choice out of 2 ships for that role."
Yeah, I get it.
By this, we have so much diversity that you will see. So you will probably, in a pirate situation, for example, or in a war situation, you will see a lot of Hornets together. That is the military thing. You'll see, for example, a lot of Cutlasses together because that's the military thing. But I think if you look at general traffic and general cities, you will not see a lot of the same ships because there's so much diversity going on. And that will make the game eventually better. And they use it as a marketing tool to obviously get more money in. But it will create so much diversity, and it will be showing off your character as well. You know, your how do you say your characteristics? You know, what kind of person are you? Are you coming in a Drake ship that's very dark and he's the pirate type, or are you coming in walking in a suit and your 890 jump? You can see the characteristics of someone or the character that person plays as well at the end of the day. Or are you coming in your white doctor suit completely under blood? You know what I mean? It's like. It will create characters. It will create your own storyline, your own fantasies, and I think that's something I have to back up Chris and the boys in that thing. I love this diversion. I cannot get enough of this stuff. You know what I mean? How many different fighters do we have, man?
Not enough.
More than enough. 15, 20?
We need more. We need more two-seater pilots.
And it's obviously going to be a big part of the game. Don't get me wrong, man.
We need more. I like to see
more mining stuff. I like to see more different purpose stuff. You know, we said it, the reclaimer, that sort of things. And I know you're going to say, but the mechanics are not there. But you need to make your ship first before you can make the mechanics at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
That's why. This is why we're getting. No, I was curious to hear what Drone's thoughts were on the 600i and how he feels about it, and what's your take on it? When you first saw it?
It's not a medical ship. I'm not too keen on it. You know, it's like it's like okay, yeah, it's cool. It's it's definitely a luxury item. It's not something I'm buying. It's not something that has the mechanics that I'm interested in. Will I steal one from somebody in game? Probably. But will I go out of my way to buy it? Nah, not likely.
Yeah, no. That's the thing is I'm just struggling hard to figure it out in terms of what the cool part of it is. But I mean, it all depends on the mechanics of ferrying.
Depends on your playstyle as well, man.
Well, it's about it's for me. It's like play style, but then it's the way I look at it is making money. At the end of the day, they will be laughing if delivering some rich, super expensive NPCs is in a game mechanic is the best way to make money. The 600i people will be laughing all the way to the bank because.
But that's not the only thing. I think.
I know, but I'm saying if that's the fastest way to make money, because ultimately at the end of the day, when you come into a game like this, when people come into the game, like any game, like Eve or whatever you want to do, you want to make bank as quickly and to find the best way to make money in the game. Yes, you do. No, you do. No. Everyone does. You want to buy ships.
Different play styles. Some people will,
exactly. So you have three people sitting at this table.
Who? Please, someone in chat that doesn't want to play a game and make money.
I'm not in chat. I'm here now. We have sitting here on the table. Bear with. We have sitting here on the table 3 different people with 3 different play styles. How many different backers are there?
No, I hear what you're saying, but surely everyone wants to make money in the game to be able to buy stuff. You've got to be able to make a currency.
But each in their own pace. I play my MMO slower than other people because I want to enjoy the content. Some people ram through content in 2 weeks, are the richest man on earth, and I'm not playing the game anymore.
Fair enough.
So each has their different play style, I think, man. And that's what you need to remember. There's more than PvP. There's more than logistics. There's more than medical. There is so many things that people can do. And I think trying to cater to all those people is a big thing from CRG to do, because they could have said, let's make 20 ships. Let's ram this game out there. No, they're catering to all these different play styles. You know what I mean?
It worries me. Yep. Do you know? And that worries me because there's that wonderful fraying is like, if you are a master of nothing and, whatever the word is.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that's necessarily goes.
I've always gone with the mindset that if you focus narrow, you'll catch wide. If you aim to catch wide, you'll catch fuck all.
But that's Chris's idea of the game. to have people to have hundreds of things for people to do, and those people will become masters in that thing they do.
Maybe he's doing fishing. He's like big nets, casting huge nets to try and reap as much as possible.
But it's fun, man. I'll play MMOs where there's fishing in there.
Yeah, fishing would be cool.
If you compare it to traditional MMOs at the moment, you have different jobs. You have weavers, you have blacksmiths, you have woodworkers, you have all these different things, and some people like this and some people like that. If we would all eat a sandwich with peanut butter every day, the world would be a boring fucking place. So that's why we have jam. That's why we have cheese. That's why we have I don't know what people put on their bread. You know what I mean? But it's catering to all these different people, and have a world that is like in real life. How many different car brands do we have? And I think it's a really good way of thinking from Chris in that perspective. I can see your point of view definitely, Manus. You are more you are more fighting focused, which is going to be a big part of the game.
Well, just to support. Thank you for all the follows and stuff. The people that are following and stuff, love you guys. We don't have the alerts and stuff on audio, obviously, because it would disrupt us talking and stuff. But thank you so much for the follows and welcome to the asylum. And welcome to welcome to the podcast and stuff like that. And to the guys.
Exactly.
Just so everyone's aware. Massive thanks. No freaking space fishing. Hell yeah, we need space fishing. Space whales.
Well, if you're going to have space fishing, you got to have space whales.
Exactly. Mounting those harpoons to the back of the 600i. That would be great. So, okay, yeah, all right. Well, I think the 600i has been discussed heavily over the last week and stuff. So
I still think, and I remember the discussion, man, as the exploration ship. For me, it's my personal opinion. It does not have a lot of. If they would just have brought out only the luxury one, I don't see making an exploration version of it and asking 40 quid more. I'm like, you're gonna have a lot more fun with an Andromeda or Aquila or a Carrick.
I thought that was a very backwards pricing decision. Like, I would have understood the luxury one to be more expensive, because that's like the primary role of the ship. But
obviously, the Ursa rover included. So.
Well, they've gone with modules, haven't they? So they've made it. They've decided they're going to build this. Like, the idea is, which I wonder if this is the sort of thing I'm wondering if they're going to do more of this now with the ships, because they've already had a lot of, they've got modularity with some of the cutlasses in terms of like the Cutlass Blue, like you can take out the cells and bits and bobs and things like that, and obviously they talk about the modularity of changing like the cockpit of the Connies. You could potentially have the Aquila cockpit on some of the other the other variations and stuff. I often wonder if this will be, because they do. We've got modularity with armor, with the Moby Glass coming on board now. I wonder, if we're going to see a hell of a lot more of this with the ships having multifunction abilities. I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense, but it kind of seems a bit strange, because then it kind of goes away from, again, what they were talking about, how one specific ship being for one specific task a little bit. I mean, could you potentially have part luxury yacht, part exploration, part, I mean, could you have, I don't know, how many modular parts are there? Can you only choose modular parts for a certain hull that is the exploration 600i hull? Or is the hull just 600i and you can put, the back part could be an exploration big scanner, and then the front part could be just a nice bridge or something?
Have you guys noticed, and that's something that I noticed, so you have the Drake Cutlass. They brought out 3 different variants, basically, which are 3 different kinds of ships. What they seem to do lately, and look at the Retaliator, look at the Caterpillar, those are all one ships with different modules in that ship. Do you think they're going to continue? Do you guys think that they're going to continue with that sort of thing over what they did with, for example, because they could have done that with the Cutlass. They could have said, okay, and we have one Cutlass, but you can turn it into 3 different variants. But they didn't do that in the beginning. It's something I think it started with Retaliator. I think they started doing the modularity, one ship, different modules. You know what I mean? What do you guys think is the better way of doing it, and how would you guys want to see that in the future? Do you think the way they're going now is better than, for example, having a Cutlass and you can turn it into a red, blue, or in the black? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the module mentality. I'm okay with a few ships having it, but in general, no, I don't. I'd rather have a different ship for a different role.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what chat's view is on the. What do you guys think about modularity ships? Do you think we need more of them or less of them, or should a ship be more focused? I mean, personally, I think they should stick with the idea that Chris originally had, which I think was like direct ships for direct, tasks. You know what I mean? It's like the Carrack is an exploration ship. I agree with Sol.
Yes.
If they had just made the 600i a luxury only, super deluxe, ferrying luxury important people around and for entertaining guests, and it's like a trophy piece that sits in your hangar and you take out when you're like Pablo Escobar with your mansion or whatever on an island, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, cool.
You know what? Why I think we're making we're comparing ships at the moment, man. It's obviously because of the prizes that they put onto it.
Yes.
So we see a price of about £400. I don't know how much it is in US dollars, but it's very similar to a Carrack at the moment. While a Carrack is much better purpose eventually, I think personally.
It's $100 more than a Carrack, so.
That's it. Well, that's even crazier. You know what I mean? But is that because we are looking at the prices now, or should we be looking at the prices eventually when it comes into game materials, in-game currency, etc.? You know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? Are we too much focused on the prices of buying into the development of the game and getting a ship with it?
Yeah, I agree with Stuffbox as well on this one about this. This like, and I think there was a great video I watched on Oxford stream the other day when a guy says, we all want so many different individual things for this game. We're going to be left disappointed to a degree, but I think we'll be ultimately left satisfied. It is difficult to, obviously we all go off, everyone goes, I mean, I see it all the time. I see Board Gamer, I see other people get off mad tangents on gameplay mechanics and that's coming and this could happen and that maybe happen and ifs, and all I ever hear is if, but, maybe, when, possibly, and all I go is, and when people say to me it's coming down the line, madness, because I'm not commenting, and they say, why are you commenting on this? Well, I'm commenting on what I actually physically have right now. I get, I'm a bit of a doubting Thomas, to be honest. I get promised a lot of things. Things don't happen, you know what I mean?
Well, what I think, and this is something, and I'm like you, Madness, at some point you need to draw a line and you need to say, okay, let's stop thinking about the things that we can put in and put it out there. But I think that is Chris's purpose of making this game, having that freedom of putting all the things that he thinks and where he goes on a wild tangent about, putting those things in and making that eventually possible. I understand your comments. At some point you need to say, okay, this is the game. Look at the Elite Dangerous, this and this and this and this are the things you can do, 7 different things. But I think Chris eventually started developing this game to have the freedom to put 120 different things in there. Maybe not in the initial release and on overtime, but that is his main and sole reason why he jumped on his own game and not together with the dude that he used to work with on Elite Dangerous. That was a different vision, I think, that he had back in the day. He was like, no, I don't want to be limited by what I can do. No, I want to go
everyone
to the
forgets
sky,
when they first did the game, they thought they were going to get a couple million or whatever, or maybe 500, to back the game, and they were going to build basically Squadron 42. That was ultimately what this game was going to be. It was going to be a single, maybe a multiplayer, kind of like like we have now with the Arena Commander style arcadey, kind of multiplayer shooting. Maybe you and your mate could get into a ship and you'd fly in Squadron 42 co-op, engaging with other pilots in that type. We maybe have a loading screen like Arena Commander. You'll go into an arena, different maps from Squadron 42, and you'd fight a very traditional, what he's kind of done before type of game.
Commander type of game. Yeah.
That was what it was. And then it was only once the money made the dream bigger. And then the thing is the crazy thing is it's almost as if all these backers, all of us were like, Chris Roberts, and then we're all like, we want you to build our dream space game. We all want you to build. We're all fucking Star Trek, Star Wars, crazy nuts who really want him to build our own individual game. So we were all like, literally like, make it for us exactly the way we want it to. Because we're all backers, ultimately, at the end of the day. We're all pledges. Depending on how much money you've, from the person that's pledged $40 to the person that's pledged 15,000 or 30,000 or 100,000, whatever, we ultimately want them to build the game that we want us have always dreamed of, which is a combination of what he's done before and what we want. All those fucked up star games, space games that are shit that we haven't played for ages, all that, we want them gone, and we want to play massive multiplayer as if we're in space, spaceships, everything. That's what we want.
But this game will overrule not only the space community, Madness, but this will destroy every single MMO ever made if it's fantasy, if it's sci-fi,
So.
it will. I think personally, it will overrule any type of MMO there is. Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, EVE Online. The vision that he has, and giving us the possibility to go on these wild tangents, you know what I mean, and he will cherry pick things. He'll think, oh, I've seen this. Someone spoke about this. Can we try this? And him putting the face technology in there, or them putting the face technology in there. You're looking at that RP type of thing again as well. Because why would you otherwise want to see your face move when you're talking? Because it has more of those MMO elements. It's good. I think personally, I have faith in it. And I've been critic about the game, or about the way communication went. I think we've discussed it more than enough on Saturday. I think communication is a big.
Yeah,
I'm
not going over any. Don't want to go over delays. I don't want to go communication. We all know the score. We want to talk about the game. I want to talk about that stuff. I want to talk about modularity, like chatting about Soul. I want to talk about modularity. I want to talk about where we think modularity exists
you're
in the game
today. So, but just to say what I want to say, I think we're going to get one of the biggest and best MMOs that is going to be out there. As long as we're fucking patient, you know what I mean, and let him go on that wild tangent, let him create these crazy things. It's going to be amazing, I think.
The Hornet does carry cargo, by the way, Snuffbox. I think it's got. If you look at the stats on the Hornet,
limited, but
you can carry. There is an option to carry limited. I mean, that was this. Let's be honest. We need the web page to be updated. Good. I think that's something I'm very excited about them to do, is to update the web page.
I think, right?
I'm very excited. Delta
patcher,
Patcher, web page, new game. I mean, 3.0, if you think about all the things that are happening, 3.0 is like literally as if they've blown away the old game and all the old stuff, and they're completely starting again. It's almost as if it's gone black on everything and they just restarting.
But it's good, though.
Yeah, it's great. Man. It's great.
And I thought
that's
about
why we're all
this,
excited for it.
Exactly, but when they were bringing all the ships up the line, now they brought basically everything up the line, and building it from here, I think is going to be a lot easier because they have all the tools, they have the bases there now. It's going to be for them a lot better, because they have been struggling and fighting hard to get all this stuff to that standard that they wanted.
That's all you need, 6 packs of beer, boys. But it does carry cargo. The Hornet is like the love child of Anvil is the favorite child. Literally, it's like the favorite child. All the other ones are kind of the eldest, whereas the Hornet is just loved the favorite.
Bottom Merchantman is my love child.
We love it. Do you know what?
I'm all about my Carrick.
I'm about the Carrick. I am a bit of a showy person, so I really like the idea of eventually getting an 890 jump. Just so that I can sit there with a white linen suit on, standing on the back of it.
But that is where you describe the purpose of the ship, Madness. You know what I mean? That is what it's going to be. It's going to be like... Yeah.
It's like, I've done it.
And I see your view of, I see an 890 jump, let's fucking get him.
Yeah.
Look at the show of, let's fucking shoot him out of the
air. And then they'll be like, come and get me. You don't realize who you're dealing with. It's like the people expect just because you're flying a Careberry ship, you don't know how to fly it. And I'd love to be able to actually have the guts of it, to be able to tune it so it looks like an 890 jump. But that motherfucker is loading the most awesome missiles, the awesome turrets. And it's like literally turns into like almost like a war boat, but it looks... So you
kind of want to put the shell of an 890 around the outside of the car.
Yes, scare the that is gameplay. That for me is modularity. That for me is that's fun because you can trap people and you could literally I want that in the game. That for me,
exactly.
That's true. Like do that. Make that happen, Chris. Make it so that we can turn these beautiful looking things into like really
monsters.
Deadly monster ships that actually do pack a punch and are dangerous.
That is what is going to happen, Madness. We said it on Saturday as well. You fill it up with pirates and you board a ship with it. You know what I mean?
Gold spandex.
I think there is no real meta in this game, you know what I mean? And there is now, because of the limited gameplay we have. You need to fly, and let's be honest, you need to fly a Hornet or a Saber to even be competitive in dogfighting at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
For the very good pilots, they can destroy someone in an Aurora, but you know what I mean? It's like there will not be a real meta for it, I think, eventually, because you can say I grabbed that 890 jump and I load it out as a fighter or as a boarding ship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is no real meta for things, I think, and I think that is what makes this game very special. There is no real meta, because otherwise you will get what you see in different games. Oh, I need this certain sword because that is the best sword in the game. And everyone has that same sword. No, I think that Chris is going towards a game where you have 20 of different swords. It's how you play it if you're going to succeed with it or not.
But that's the skill-based part of this game, and that's where there's a bit of confliction, and there's a bit of there's certain things within the game at the moment don't quite. That's why I get salty about certain things in the game. I get salty about things when I see things. It's like doesn't match up.
Flying and fighting, and I totally see your way of thinking, because we only have this part of the game. It does not make sense for this part of the game that we have now. But these sort of things make sense for the game that we're gonna get eventually. You know what I mean?
Well, I can imagine, like, for example, like Gritsmitters, I think, said something quite fun, or it was someone else was saying, imagine you took like a 600i or an 8 and 90 jump or whatever, loaded it up with loads of DrDronez people with grenades or whatever else, and you just everyone thinks that you're just going to be a Care Berry type of person. Then the next minute, all hell breaks loose when they all jump off the back of it or whatever. Everyone's thinking it's all going to be fine, and then you just suddenly laid waste to whatever in seconds, because you've got that element of surprise. Everyone's kind of, you're just standing on the side waving, "Hi guys, hey!" You're all holding like machine guns underneath, like, "Hello."
Yeah, like how many fully armed pirates can we put into an Orion and pretend to be mining?
Exactly.
It's come at it.
But that is the beauty of the game that we're going to get. There will be no meta for things. Well, there is a meta for things now, because this is what the game only allows, you know what I mean? But I think with the versatility, we're going to have so much cool stuff. Yeah. What is cooler than two dogfighters going towards an 890 thinking they're going to have an easy target, and they get the surprise of the tropical surprise pops out. No, but that's
bait, though. It's bait. You can use it as bait and traps. So you're going to have to be careful. Bait. You can all sorts of stuff. It's going to be fun.
Exactly. I think what and I do it, Madness. I think we're at the moment. I think the community, and let's talk as us as a community, we're too much focused on the prizes of the ships at the moment. But we need to see it separate from the ships. We need to see it as backing development, and not saying, "Oh, £400 gets you this, 500 pounds get you this, £1,000 get you this." Yeah. No, you're just backing development. You know what I mean? And it's for you if you want to back that development and get a nice ship with it. You know what I mean? Or you say, "I like this particular kind of ship and I want to back development. Let's get this package." But let's stop focusing on the prizes, the real cash prizes of these ships, because as soon as this game releases and we can all build these ships in game, it's going to be a whole different way of thinking, because then it's going to be how much commodities or materials do we need to build a certain kind of ship, and then you'll see that prices might be way different. It might be way more expensive to build a 600i because it needs a certain luxury material or a certain special mineral or something like that. We're too focused, I think, and I do it. I'm guilty of it. Oh, this thing it costs £900. This and that. Let's stop focusing on that. Those £900 you are putting into the game eventually, and that's how I see it lately. I paid £250 for a Banner Merchantman. It gets me the ship that I love. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I've been very fortunate, but I'm back into the game with that money, and that's what we need to.
Do you need to take a breath, Sol? You're right.
Okay. I'm good, man. I'm talking to
You're like,
that was a pretty good rant.
I was like, wow. I was like, Jesus, it's like circular breathing over there.
For it.
No, in a positive way, man. In a positive way. I think we have a great community. But I personally have focused too much on the prices of ships. I don't know how you guys see it.
Do you know what? This is the way I look at this with the prices of ships, which I thought about. And I thought about it was something that Twerk said on one of his streams a long time ago about in terms of female streamers. And he said, he said, I used to get salty about, these girl, titty streamers, as you would like to call them.
I still do.
And he said to me, then he said on the stream, and he said something which rang true to me, because I used to get salty about it. I was like, oh, for God's sake, what? But the truth is, the people that go and follow,
there's one sitting again,
the people, the people that go and follow these people aren't really going to come and watch your stream anyway. The reality is that's what they're there to watch. They want to watch titties. They want to watch that type of content.
Exactly.
That's their thing.
You're there for the person.
That's why we watch Saul's streams.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with the expensive ships. The reality is I ain't going to spend $400 ever in my life of my own hardcore cash on like immediately just on a concept sale of any space
But
in
some
any
people would.
spaceship. I will never. I might work my way up to that through winning prizes on streams and maybe trying to win it or whatever. That way, yes, I could potentially do it over a long period of time. But I'm never just going to suddenly just come straight out somewhere and drop 400. My wife, first of all, would literally immediately delete my
Smack
account
you to death.
and murder me. But the truth is, I even myself as a person, that's not. I couldn't. I mean, like $400. My God, I could buy so many other things for that kind of money that I'd want, that I need. That's in real life. That's more important.
But that's
me.
I think where some people have that money to spare, man, and they say, okay, I want to back into that game, or a lot of, and let's be honest, a lot of them say, oh, I want this certain kind of ship, so I'm going to put that money in.
But I don't think they're the ones. I think the thing is I'll be curious to know if those are the ones, because the vocal minority, I wouldn't be surprised. The ones who are getting
just bought an
probably
Aurora.
would never even buy or spend that kind of money in the first place. I'd be curious to know. I mean, I'm sure there are some people who are obviously upset because they would spend that money, but I'll be curious to know what. It's like anything. It's like the vocal minority of people who'd be like, well, what's the most expensive ship you actually have in the game? And it'd be like, I have a
Cutlass.
a Cutlass, yeah, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
But
It'd
for
be
some
like,
people, it's a lot of money, man, and that's what I don't think we don't need to forget. You know, some people can only spend $100, and for them, it's food on the table. And some people have.
It's always
going to
circle back to you don't have to buy the ship.
exactly.
You can always earn it in game.
Yeah, exactly. Just be patient, and then you get it. It's just because people want to enjoy, and then but there'll be some person will bought it, and you can hang out with them, or let me say we can steal it, or there'll be a free fly weekend where we get access to all of the ships for a bit of fun, and then we'll get to enjoy
Those things
it.
will change when the game initially releases, but up until that time,
Right.
you can try it out. You know, I bought a ship that it's not available till like probably the end of 2018, and by how things are going now, you know, I think DrDronez has invested in ships that are not even close to coming out. You know, but you know, and don't nothing bad, but you know, it's you're buying into development. That's what you're doing. You're not really. I bought pixels, and it's not even pixels yet. It's just I bought someone's idea in someone's head, and someone drew that out on a piece of paper at the end of the day. You know, and that's what I need to realize.
That's my business, man. That's my business. I'm in the business of drawing shoes, and then people seeing the drawings and going, "That looks amazing," and then trying to make it happen. It's all creative. That's how it is, and we're all buying into that through trust and faith. And like I said,
exactly
what we do. But right, moving on to a different ship. Moving on to another thing. So we have this is the X1, I believe, which will be inside the 600i.
I don't like that.
Looks like a fragment of a 600i.
So this is I was like, so this is like the head, and then this is the body, the little legs sticking out here, and then it's kind of got a canopy, and it kind of wraps around it, and it's got the little shooter at the front. This feels like a sort of a Cloud City vehicle. Yeah, I feel like I should be in Star Wars Cloud City, and it would be escorting you.
Are those his legs underneath in there?
That's the legs there. Yeah, it's hard to see because it's a bit blurry, but that's the legs there.
It's more like a Nox, but then from an Origin.
I want to see the getting in and out of this animation. That looks like it would be entertaining.
I first of all, when I saw it, I thought he would be facing the opposite direction. I thought this would be the back, and then he would be in the front, and this is the front of the ship, and his little feet would be like a Formula One little race car again, rather than a bike. But then I was like, well, it's actually a bike. But and then the canopy closes. I wait until I see more of it. What is that thing? Yeah, it's the X1 Racer that's going in the 600i. Hang on, I think I've got another picture of it somewhere. 2 seconds. I'll see if I can dig out some more.
Do you like this? What's your guys' view on this? And I've said it before. I'm not a big fan of the Nox either. It's just not my type of thing. Although I like the 85X idea being attached to the 890 jump. You know, I don't like. I'm not a fan of this sort of stuff. I don't know what you guys think.
I am not a huge fan of the X1. I will probably get one as a token. Just, you know, so if I ever want to upgrade to something else, I'll get LTI when they come out. But as far as bikes go, I'm still a fan of the Dragonfly. I'm not so keen on the Nox.
I like that. I like that.
I do want to see. I do want to see a medical variant of the Dragonfly.
That's the best.
Dragonfly Red with a sled instead of a seat on the back. That's what I would like to see.
That's a good one, man. I'm a bit more of the traditional kind of guy. Although I didn't buy one. If I look at vehicles, I like more the Ursa Rover. What are the other things called? The Humvee type of the Gunners? No.
Papa Boy's got an Endeavour, Polaris,
Yes.
Banu Merchantman, Reclaimer, Carrick, Gemini,
saw that.
600i, Terrapin, Gladius, Vanguard, Harbinger, +2
Very nice list.
BUK. Don't feel guilty about it. No, well, I mean, you don't feel guilty about it. It's cool.
That's a good thing. But Pappy, for example, or Puppy, or however I pronounce it, has had that money available, maybe, or felt that was the way. It is how you want to spend your money. You know,
This is the
I
dream I
spend
was
my money
talking
on
about.
stupid
This is that
steering
dream.
wheels, and other people think, "What the fuck are you buying?" You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
everyone has a different. That's what I said earlier. Some people like sandwiches with jam. Some people like sandwiches with peanut butter. Some like a thin spread. Some like a big. So that I think that having that diversity in the game, like we need in real life, you know what I mean? If we would all wear a pair of jeans and a black shirt, it would be fucking boring.
But here's my question to Papa Boy: did you complain about the 600i because you bought the 600i?
Cyclone. That was the word I was looking for.
Did you buy? Did you complain? Did you go on Reddit and scream and rant and rave and go, "Oh my god, no, this is the worst thing ever"? I'll be surprised if you still got it. You probably didn't.
Although
overly priced.
Reddit is a place of soul, obviously.
Well, not Reddit or everywhere. Spectrum, Twitter,
okay,
everywhere.
okay,
It wasn't
yeah.
just Reddit. That wasn't like it was like this is just Reddit complaining. It was like pretty much if you went to Spectrum, you'd have seen the salt. You went on streamers' channels, you saw it. You went on YouTube, you saw people not sure about it and didn't think it justified the price. You know, it was
Reddit is like a salt mine.
Everywhere.
So it's,
Mine, yeah.
if you want salt, you go to Reddit.
It seems to be a thing at the moment as well. Everyone freaking complaining.
Yeah, I don't
think
know
maybe
how it
when
lands.
maybe when 3.0 hits, that all calms down a bit because people seem to get triggered by freaking everything at the moment. You know what I mean? Well, I think nobody complained when the 890 jump came out and it was $900 or $890. No one was complaining. It seems to be of late that people are complaining a bit quicker, and I hope that dies down a bit. You know, because I see the purpose of the ship. I don't see the purpose as the exploration ship. I said it earlier. I see the purpose as a luxury ship, but I don't think it's a bad thing, you know. And that's what I say. We focus too much on the prizes of this ship. You're buying into the development. You just get the ship with it. You just buy £400 into
yeah, but
development.
you're also. I mean, at the end of the day, you also let's get real as well. You know, for that kind of investment, you do want to see a degree of return in the game. You know, you're not just
You got a great luxury ship in return.
That's what I mean. You want to know, and that's why when the Q&A dropped, which I understand what Pappy Boyington was saying, when the Q&A dropped, which is I think when everyone got salty about it was like, whoa, hang on a minute, this isn't quite what you guys were promising at the start, or what it came across as. Can we get a bit of clarity here?
But then we come back on the communications thing.
Which we won't go into. The communication we know needs
but
to be worked on, and they'll work on it, and then things will be improved.
They're working on it. They have so much improved already from a year back or from 2 years back, you know. And it's a continuous process at the end of the day. Let's all be realistic, you know. And we're all humans.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, but let's just you know, they'll get there, man. They'll get there.
I mean, what I'm going to be curious to know is which is going to come out first. Do you think the 600i or the 890 jump?
I think the 890 is planned
600.
for. Yeah, you think?
Ooh, there you go. Difference
600.
already.
What
You're going to
was
rework
890 originally planned for? Was it on the ship list that we got?
One at a time.
I'm pretty sure it was, but I don't remember when they said. But I think you'll see the 600 before the 890, just based on the stuff that they've already finished, the assets that they've got in place.
That's easy.
Would lend themselves better to making a mid-sized ship than a full-size.
Do you think that's right though, that the 600i should be out, considering the 890 is being so?
I don't think a damn thing should be released until I have my Carrick. That's what I think.
Or I have
That's
my
true. That's true. That's true. But I'm just thinking, in terms of kind of like, you know, a lot of people have been waiting for that 890 jump for a hell of a long time, and I do think that they're at fear of almost needing to kind of do a complete redesign in a way of the 890 to kind of follow the new styling that they're clearly doing now for the Origin stuff. So it looks like, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if the 890 jump gets a complete rework and looks completely different to what's on our screen right now. I really wouldn't be surprised if they do a whole new kind of sweeping change to the bottom of it, make it
Red Lear brought up a good point there.
What'd you
He
say?
wants them to release all the ships he has. That way, all the design mistakes are out of the way. I get that logic. I do. I genuinely get it. It makes
Well, I
sense.
get CIG's logic as well. Is there a need for an 890 jump at the moment? Was there a need for the Starfarer, to be honest, at the moment? Not really.
Sorry, say that again.
So do you think there is a need? So I'm a banner merchantman owner. I do not see the need for the ship to be released tomorrow because I cannot use it for what I want to use it for.
Well,
so I can see a little bit what they're doing. Obviously, they're releasing stuff, and they've gone up and down with it. You know, I think they've released stuff but I think at the moment they've released all the fighter things because that's what we can use and what was needed for Squadron 42, in my opinion. To be honest, you know what I mean.
Well,
let's be honest. Most of the assets we've seen have been needed in Squadron 42, which they plan to release earlier than the rest of it. So I can see their way of thinking. I don't think. Do we have a need for a reclaimer at the moment? For example, do we have a need for a Carrig at the moment? There is no exploration in the game, so it will be just a static ship. And then we come back on what you said, Madness, last week.
I don't care.
I want to see the reclaimer working. Of course, you know.
Well, okay. I'm kind of like, because I kind of always, this is because I'm always learning, and I'm always this way. This is what's great about doing a podcast with you guys in chat and with you guys outside. I can say what I think and what I'm talking about, and then guys are coming back with me about 50 reasons why I'm completely wrong, which I love, because it educates me. But the one thing, like Red Leo was talking about, the inside of the Starfarer, for example, if we release, I personally am of the mindset that you should release as much as you can when you're going along, because you learn all of the fuck ups there and then, rather than waiting for. Sometimes I'm always of the mind that why wait for ages and ages just to kind of polish and think. You can at least get it in there, and then people can say, hey, see these stairs, they're in the wrong place, this is stupid. I want to go up immediately when I come into the side. I don't want to have to go right, then go right again, then go up another weird stairs, and then go left, and then try and go through 2 doors and all the rest of it. That's really stupid. Can you not just like make it here? Or I almost feel like they need to, you get more and get more out.
Things obviously there's compartments in the ship that they feel that would be there realistically as well. So the stairs need to go around this because there's a certain compartment of a ship we might not be able to see it. You see that there's something under that stuff. I can understand that. You know what I mean? Doesn't always make sense in the perspective.
I was using it just as an example or something. So, but
no,
there are many other things. There are many other things.
But next to that is, I think a lot of these ships have been designed around PvP inside ships as well. I think Starfarer makes it really interesting to PvP in because of that system that it's laid out. And I think that's what I think Sean mentioned it on BritishCon as well. A lot of these things are designed with melee combat. Is that the right way of saying it? Short, close quarters combat in mind as well. You know.
Well, this is the thing. Sorry, just because I'm jumping between, I'm dancing between you guys and chat, because chat's got some fantastic things going on right now as well, which I'm really enjoying reading you guys' comments. So please keep going, because I think it's fantastic. I think this brings up another kind of topic of conversation I wanted to bring with you guys is the fact of the matter is there's always going to be new buyers and new people coming into Star Citizen. There's always going to be an influx of that going on. Every time they do like a Gamescom or a CitizenCon and they produce things, they're going to get more money, they're going to get more people interested in the game. Obviously, unfortunately, at the moment, the streamer community, when people come in to ask us, I still say to them, get the game now, it's a good time. But I also say, be wary if you're expecting what you saw at Gamescom, because we've been delayed and been waiting for this content that you really saw just a couple of weeks ago for over a year now. So hold on tight if you want to join this crazy ride. You're going to have to learn to be very patient. But don't not get the game for that reason. Get an account, come in, and it's worth flying now and having fun with us. But what these guys were saying in terms of when you get to a point when there are certain types of game mechanics and ships that you want. For example, I'm just waiting now on the Carrack. Once I have the Carrack, I will have and there's only one other ship potentially I need, which is the Super Hornet, to be able to have my triage of combat fighters right now that I think is the most effective right now in the game. We'll wait until 3.0 and then I'll reassess and maybe shuffle things around again, which is I'm excited about. But at the moment, those are the main key things. One carrot for exploration. Potentially, eventually, I hope that we'll be able to buy land stuff. Like I'll be able to do farming, so I'll be able to buy a pod for a planet. So maybe an Endeavor pod, rather than buying the whole Endeavor, I just can buy the whatever you call it, the dome and stuff for a planet, and then I can do farming on a planet. That would be me very happy. And that would be me.
What would you grow on the planet?
Space weed probably for drugs, and then probably a combination, and then probably some food and fruit and whatever other, kind of other, veggies, that kind of stuff. And then I'd need, but then it kind of opens up. Then then I think to myself, well, I need a hauler. So for me, the Cutlass Black, my Cutlass Blue, I'll probably change the modularity for that. So it'll probably be, sometimes I use my Cutlass Blue for bounty hunting, and then I'll probably maybe switch out the back to be able to then transport goods from my farm to make some money, and that's because I'm not going to be, it's not going to be making me, the farming side of things isn't going to be making me huge amounts of revenue to a degree. I'm hoping that most of my bounty hunting and fighting will make most of my money, but then who knows, who knows. There's so many crazy things I could talk.
You're pushing on the point there, what I said earlier. You're going to play this game the way you want to play it.
Exactly.
And Drones will do that, I will do that, Rattler will do that, Pappy will do that.
Yes.
And that is what makes this game, or at least the vision of this game and the promise that we have and the development that we're seeing, that is what is going to make this such
I can't wait till all the mechanics and stuff are into where you could, fire up Twitch, open the Star Citizen directory, and see 10 different streamers playing 10 different
game types,
styles of play.
Exactly.
Not just the same basic stuff. Either you're missioning, or you're holding SPK, or you're doing Star Marine. I mean, really, that's where we're at right now.
That's going to be great, Drones. You know what I mean? That's going to be great. Yeah. That's going to be
3.0.
That's what I love.
Could bring it to the beginnings.
Yeah,
of it. 3.0 could bring the beginnings of that. We'll have people. There'll be people who will be doing combat in space still. There'll be people then who'll be running around on planets. There'll be. I mean, this brings me to my thing
I'll be transporting stuff, But that's why I love the idea of UINS in the beginning as well, Madness.
Yeah.
You guys had a vision, or we had a vision, let's say we, of being mercenaries. Well, that wasn't really in the game, and that's that role play aspect that I love,
That's them.
You having
They've
the idea
that
you wanted to. Yeah, exactly.
Star Citizen created the job.
Yet, right? We don't have money trading yet, so I could not say to you, Madness, I need you to escort me. Here is 1,000 this.
No,
we don't have those sort of things yet. So as soon as that
I hear Madness takes real.
I take real bribes, yeah, for sure. Donations, it's fine. I take them.
But it's going to make for some interesting, great stuff, guys. You know what I mean? And hopefully, people will realize that it's. And this is something I really want to say. If you're in and you just think you're going to play Euro Truck Simulator, it's not going to damn happen. It part of it will, but there will come a time when someone thinks, "Ooh, look at him there. Let's see what he has," And that is the great thing about this game. I'm so excied.
Okay.
We'll
give Saul a moment with some tissues and some Kleenex and. Do you know what though? Is there a point? Do you think there's a point at the moment where you will be right? Like, because I was reading in chat, like someone was saying, I've got this ship, and now I'm happy. Are you guys in the same situation where you're going, okay, yeah, I've got this ship, and I've got this ship, and right now, as it stands, I cannot see, apart from maybe one or two other ships that they've shown on the schedule, anything really, like the 600 didn't tip me to go, I'm going to rush out and buy the ship because it's going to really improve the gameplay for me.
Yes.
Is there any ships left for you guys? Is there any? Or are you at the stage now individually where you've gone, I've now got my fleet effectively for the game. I'm happy with this. I don't really. Maybe
that's
a few
where
tweaks
I'm at
here.
Right now.
You're at the that's what I was thinking. I think there's quite a lot of people who are like that now.
I'm not there yet, Madness, but I you know what I said to myself? Okay, I said there's one ship that I really wanted, and let's be honest, I have to work hard for my money. So I eventually got the Caterpillar and upgraded that to it, or sold it and got a Bounty Merchantman because that's what I really wanted, and it was still in that $250 price range when I bought it. So for me, that was the best thing to do. But I still have a lot of ships that I want to get. But what I said to myself is, I want to build them in game or buy them in game, because I don't have the funds available at this point in time.
So I agree with that. I have a ship that I have had opportunities to get and have decided not to because I want to earn it in game, and that's the Endeavor Hope class. I want that, but I'm going to get that in game. I'm not going to throw money at it. As far as ships that I'll actually buy, I have that whole fleet. I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah. What I don't want is and I don't want to jump in the game and have everything already. No funds. Buy too
That's-
many
that's-
racing
no,
wheels.
that's
Yeah,
sold.
true. But you know what it is? I want progression in the game as well. And I think for me, having the Banu is a nice start for what I want.
Yeah.
And I can progress into other branches of the game, for example, or into things that might be better than the Banu, you know what I mean? And but I want to do that all in game, you know. I think that is going to be really fun. I love the grind in games as well, you know. If I would get everything
Yep.
immediately, it would make it really boring at the end of the day, you know. I want to say to myself, and this shit, I think, oh, I want this ship right now. Let's work for it. Let's get there, you know. Let's get people involved. Let's you know, let the road be bumpy, but that's going to be fun, man. That's going to be good.
I mean, we're getting more ships, more vehicles all the time now. I mean, the ship and the kind of the building of ships and stuff within the game, and the production team is a fantastic level. You know, in terms of the pipeline and everything. They've always going on about how they've improved in the previous ATVs. The pipeline has improved tremendously. So I expect us to have tons more land-based vehicles. I mean, we've still got so many of the alien species yet to really dive into in terms of their ships. I mean, I was looking at the other day on my stream, we were looking at like the Vandal ships, for example. We won't see any of that stuff until Citizen Con, obviously, because they'll want to show that off for Squadron 42. That'll be the exciting kind of time for me. But we've still got Geons, we've still got the please apologize for butchering the names, the Tavarians. We've got the Banu still. We've seen the Defender. I'm excited to see more from maybe the Banu, or from another race. They've talked about Chris Robertson in an interview the other day. He's already mentioned that there will be NPC aliens in game who we can't fly the ships, but they will be, you know, in there. And there's the ultimate goal in the game is for the way down the line is that we'll be able to play as Banu merchantmen, we'll be able to play as a Geon, we'll be able to play potentially as a Vandal. You know, I mean, that'd be exciting.
Would you guys play as such a character?
If they get access to some badass spaceships, I will. Hell yeah.
I would. Well, we all would have access to the same spaceships because we humans.
You think so? That would be a shame to me.
Well.
That would be a shame. I would want, because they're aliens that are a different size and shape. They should be able to have their.
But they've already done
exclusive
that now,
ships. No, but they're adjusted.
That's what I mean. So they basically already done that. Which I agree with you. It would be cool if you had
8-foot Vandal. Imagine how the game would feel if you're 8 foot, like wandering around.
But then I come to a point that I mentioned on.
I think you'd hurt your head a lot.
Yes, you would, stooping in stations.
But then we come to a point that we said on Saturday, Madness, where I said Black Desert Online, a great game, but there are certain classes that you can only play as a female, for example. And then I think you're excluding people that say, okay, I want to be this type of race and I want to have that type of ship. So then you're really limiting people in their choices, basically. Because I would love to play a ranger on Black Desert Online, but because I want to get involved into the game and I rather play with male characters because that gets me really involved into the game, I cannot play that ranger because it's a female character, for example, and that's something that I would not like to see, because you have it in some games that only certain class or only certain races or only certain genders can play certain classes, and I would be sad to see that in Star Citizen.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that be a thing.
I don't think genders. I think genders in terms of yeah, sure, but I don't want to see that because that's. I agree with you on that one in terms of female and male. They should be.
Yeah, don't lock somebody up because
logs or
just
race logs is the same thing.
No, but I do think race logs is because of physical. There's a physical difference, between a 9-foot Vandal and a 6-foot human being, and there's a difference between what other aliens
now.
could come
Look
along.
at the Banu Merchantman, which is really a Banu ship, but humans can fly it. So the doorways are going to be twice as high as I am in the game, probably.
But they're adapted. You read the lore, they've adapted. They're not like there's certain things that have been adapted and changed. I think it would just be if I want to play as a different race, I want to have exclusive gear for that race.
Exclusive gear would be great.
That would be cool. Exclusive spaceship, exclusive gear. And that's
biological ships.
Super yeah. Oh my god, how cool!
I do too. I'm sorry, I would love
ships. Woo! I agree. Yeah. I remember in Babylon 5 there was some of the. Was it that there's an organic that creature that had like the weird kind of like face and gas like kind of thing, and his ship was like alive and stuff.
What about Farscape, man?
Oh yeah,
Farscape.
Yeah, that was cool as well. The Leviathan, right?
Yeah.
And what was the name of the two ships in Farscape again? forget the names of the. Anyway, yes, agree. This definitely. I mean, I'm sure they're on it.
Discussions going on, boys, today, and also with chat. Just to jump in before you go on, Manus. Exclamation mark question. I'll put it in chat. If you guys have any questions for later, just put them in there, and we'll answer them for you at the end of the show.
Moya. Thank you.
And I'll give the word back to Madness now. So
thank you. It's a long time since I watched Farscape. I loved that show. It was great.
Farscape is awesome, man.
Jim Henderson.
Question is that what it is?
Amazing.
Yeah, there we go.
I watched that with my parent. It was like ritual watching. That was when it came out. Ritual watching, along with Stargate and other things. Actually, talking about that makes me. All right. Okay. So here's a question for you. Right, we've got jump gates in space. Do you think we'll have like Stargate style jump gates for planets, so you can walk through a jump gate and be transported from one planet to another without having to take a spaceship, or without it completely stupid?
Not.
And eliminate spaceships.
I hope they leave that out.
Yeah,
I hope they
leave that out. We don't want that.
Okay, cool.
That takes away the risk of taking stuff off the planet and flying it to the other planet.
Exactly.
I want people to endure that risk.
Okay, so you couldn't potentially say you can't physically do it, but you could do it through like land-based vehicles could jump through from land-based jumping from planets in a system and stuff. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Get your ass in space and let's play.
Let's play. Okay, cool. Just checking. That's fine. A negative. I think everyone clearly doesn't want that. That's fine. Don't worry. No hate, please. I won't be putting that on the post. That's for sure.
So you can direct all of your salt to Littlebitofmadness.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's like, shut up, Madness. Your
TV/Littlebitofmadness.
fucking ideas are rubbish. Get off. What are you doing? We had.
Great ideas, man.
Here's my question. Here's the next question for everybody. This is my question, and because we're all. This is all today. With the lack of like real content from ATVs, the burn up this week was. I mean, we can go over it, but I'm really not going to cover it too much. I really want to have a real chat with the community and you guys. Let's talk about missions, okay? Because 3.0 is going to bring missions. What type of missions do you guys? Because like Chris Roberts talks about, like you're saying we're going to have this mission and it will be multiple versions of missions, and then we'll be able to link, and then we'll have opposite missions with friends engaging with people. Like currently at the moment, it's very hard to kind of imagine because we're so used to just going to ICC, going to a stupid little HUD, pressing a button, getting a thing. The idea of
aiming for
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. The idea of complicated kind of mission.
Are you aiming at what Chris said in there's multiple outcomes to missions depending on the way you play it? Is that what you mean? Yeah,
that's it. I'm thinking in chat, like what type of missions, like, because chat, what do you want to see from missions? What's the kind of, what do you want to get from missions? What do you want to get out of it? You know what I mean? Do you want to do cargo? We're going to have cargo missions. So, would you want to have a cargo mission, for example, where I am a pirate and I can pick up a mission to engage you? Yes. And how am I going to know to engage you? Or we're going to have to meet somewhere for there to be an engagement where I have to stop you. What do you think? I mean, how are we going to play that one out? How would you play that out?
If I look at my MMO experience, what you could say is, okay, and I pick up a mission, bring X commodity from here to there. You could be having and a lot of people can pick up that same mission. How you get to that place is obviously how you do it. But a pirate could get a mission, steal X amount of this commodity, and look in this kind of area, for example. And those is that might be, and that's what Chris discussed earlier, the meeting points, the hot spots. That could be a place where we all have to pass through whatever way we take. If we go via Amsterdam or via Hong Kong, let's call it that way for now. You will always cross to that certain meeting point. You could say, okay, I'm going to sit out in that meeting point. I'm going to wait till the red-bearded Dutch motherfucker is going to come out with his bounty merchantman, and I'm going to kick his ass. I think that would be a really great way to and make it more interesting. Because if I fly up and down 10 times and I got no resistance, it's not fun. You know what I mean? I'm like, it gets boring at some point. It's easy money, but it gets boring. I think creating those conflicts is a great way of doing it. And I could say, for example, and this is the way I think that Chris sees it, and forgive me, Chad, or someone tell me if I'm wrong. Chris wants to have the option in that if I say I'm going to bring this cargo for this certain NPC to somewhere, that I can say, but oh, wait a minute, this cargo, I can get a lot more money of it elsewhere. Although it needs to go to James, for example. But no, I'm not going to bring it to James. I'm going to bring it to Harry, and I'm going to take that money for myself. I think that is the way that Chris wants to see the missions, which I think is a great thing. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But I think that's a great way of play. And then you get a negative standing with that certain faction because you stole his cargo and brought it elsewhere and took the money from it, for example. So what you could say is, you have the option to do it. You know what I mean? Play good and bad. I don't know if you remember the game Black and White, I think it was called, where you had the angel guy and the
And Black and White old school game, man. Jesus,
Oh, it was a great game, man.
Do you know what? Just this is the thing. This is kind of like, I mean, I'm all for that. The fun that I had today on stream with Toby and with Avery and the other guys was very much around all jumping into a Connie or a Starfarer. All like 2 people in the turrets, which was shit, but we still had a good laugh. Engaging with NPCs, potentially because I was public enemy, we'd ended up getting public enemy status. So I'm a public enemy in a Starfarer, flying around in a Starfarer, whilst getting attacked by scrubs, which we're managing somehow to kill. Toby killed a glaive from a turret, which is unbelievable. And we had such a good time. And a part of me is kind of like, that for me is going to be the biggest. I was really happy when Chris said that we're going to be able to have co-op missions. Like, that brings a whole nother level in terms of, can you imagine like the escalation, like gang warfare that potentially brings in terms definitely. Of like you and your mate, you could be like, right, okay, I need to bring 4 or 5 of my buddies now to do this mission because I know that the other end of this, because I tried it earlier a few minutes ago, there are 6 Super Hornets, pirates all waiting at the end, engaging, and then the next thing you know is we're going to have the big PvP fighting. But I do agree with which excites me. That excites me because obviously PvP, both sides of it. But there are a lot of people who don't want to do the PvP. They want to have the special snowflake experience. They want to have that.
But you're not going to get that.
No, but they want that, and they need to have that type of built into the game. So I'm curious, is like like the truck simulator. There's the risk is your own risk. Man. I crash your ship into you crash your ship into something.
Although I'm all about the logistics gameplay,
NPC.
It is a PvP orientated game. Mm-hmm. And I think you cannot make a PvP only thing for people because that would take the whole purpose of the game away. And I've always leaned in all the MMOs I played. I will explain that in a minute, Eric, because I don't like the wording of a
special snowflake.
I don't like special snowflakes, and I don't like the word Care Bear either. But let me get back to that in a second.
That's just me riling the community.
Because those people are there as well, but I don't think that this is not. If you are looking for Euro Truck Simulator, this is not the game for you. Because you will really? Not have a choice.
I don't think that's fair. You just said about having it as like no. I have to interrupt you because you were saying this is the game we're going to have for everybody. It's going to have all this blah blah blah.
Exactly, but so how can PvP will be an element of everything in this game.
Okay, because
it's a PvP game. You could do PvP.
You mean it's a sandbox game, so people can potentially shoot you at any point in the game. Not it's a PvP game. It's just the option is there to do.
Exactly. It's not like World of Warcraft where you go into a certain area where there is the PvP area. It is more like Black Desert Online, where you could be doing PvE content and someone could smack you in the back of the head with a big ass hammer or sword. And that is what I think we need to remember. And in all honesty,
90%, yeah, Hurricane, yeah.
I come from more of I love more PvP, PvE. I'm honest. I've always been a PvE player, so I could think on my own pace. But I keep in mind that with Star Citizen, that is not going to be the case. It is a PvP orientated sandbox game. So even if you're doing PvE content, there will always be a chance. And the chance might be small because the universe is that big, that there will be someone that comes and disturb you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's going to be hard, and I would love to see how they're trying to do that.
Tiz,
to make
ask
it
a good question.
PvE only experience.
Well, Tiz asked a thing about controlled space, because Eve, at the end of the day, you have areas of space which end up being controlled by like the Russians. I always remember when I played Eve, it was like this area. I remember, there was that was high sec and there's low sec, but that's slightly different. There was like parts of space which were like the Russians basically owned, and then there was another set of space where the goons kind of owned, and it was the problem with that is it just got really ugly for new players, and the experience wasn't that enjoyable. I remember it's not as fun as I hoped it. I like the idea where Chris said that they're not going to eliminate the opportunity for us to be able to own maybe stations as pirates, and you'll be able to control to a degree areas of space. But if it becomes too you're not going to be able to control like a massive amount of space, because if that does happen, I think they talked about maybe having like a wiping system where ultimately the area that you think you're controlling gets wiped. If you know, they want to keep the game flowing and constantly moving. They don't want like stagnated areas where people can't go because it's like just one huge group. They don't want to eliminate that. They'll move them on. They want to move them on to different areas.
Well, you could do that through natural events that are controlled server side. You know what I mean? This happened. You now lost this.
I've always said that. I've always said they could do it this way, where they would potentially have like an alien race. You could use the Vandal, for example, and you have waves come at you over a period of time. So you control an area of space. The Vandal would come at you for a wave. You can repel that wave initially, and then the Vandal won't come back for like a week. Then the next week, suddenly, when you're not at least expecting it, there'll be then another wave, but it'll be twice as big. You repel it again. You manage to hold out long enough. Then the next week, the Vandal wave is 4 times as big. You repel it, but it was hard, and you lost resources. It was difficult. Then another week later, the Vandal will come again, and this time they're 8 times as big. And this time you really get annihilated, and it costs a lot of resources to restock. And then you know that the next time is going to be 16 times as big, and they're not going to be able to hold out potentially without maybe getting your mates to come along. So your mates come along and join you. The next thing you know, you've got like a massive NPC war going on with your mates, and you're fighting NPCs, and you're trying to control space. It's awesome. I mean, that's my head. That's I get excited.
No. It's great. I think it's great, but
trying to hold out.
If I look at, and I don't want to compare it to games, but as a game as Black Desert, which is PvP orientated, open world, you could run into PvP everywhere. It does not always happen because you have the negative karma effect, and I think that is what Chris is looking into as well. Risk and reward. What we said earlier. How much risk are you going to take for a certain reward out of it? So I think hopefully they can control it by implementing those systems. How much risk is let's say the Russian Federation or the goons going to take to control that area, while they could get negative karma, which could affect them negatively in other parts of the game.
That's it. You raised a really good thing I was going to talk about. It was like, the idea of, is it reputation, right? Kind of...
I think someone in chat said it earlier as well.
Yeah, someone said that.
And karma, which I think is a sort of way you can implement it. Let's call it karma in this case.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's like you're kind of... you're standing effectively with a certain race, or you're standing with certain areas will definitely.
It's just like in real life madness. I don't want to call out all the problems that we have in the world now, but certain people or certain countries have certain standings because they do certain things, and the risk that they took because they wanted to do that is that they have might be positives to it, but there might be negatives to it. That's how the whole life is. I might, for example, let's say I'm a big fan of a Liverpool Football Club, which I'm not, but that means that my standing towards other football clubs is less, for example, you know what I mean? And Everton is my biggest rival because you know what I mean? So it's going to be that game of like, okay, I'm part of a certain faction or a certain group. These are my friends. These people are not my friends. These people are obviously not my friends because they are completely in contrast with what I do, you know what I mean? And I think that is going to be a great development eventually. Seeing people develop relations, but also friendships, but also enemies, corporations that have completely different standings from each other, I think that is what we said before, the lovely hand, the lovely natural progression of things.
He's back.
Drones is back.
He's back.
Nice.
I was just putting a placeholder in for
I
you.
like that.
I was just putting a very handsome
keep
placeholder in for you. It's
Brilliant.
changed. It's not as handsome now, though. It's got better.
What?
Even more handsome. Even more handsome Brad
I was
than Brad
about to
Pitt.
say, you better
Oh
get
my
that one
God.
right.
Even more handsome.
Sexy man.
Triggered.
It's improved.
But yeah,
Nice pants, Drones. He's actually wearing pants.
Thanks, Gundam.
That's amazing.
I decided to wear
Listen,
pants.
those
for the
pants are
podcast.
fucking great. Don't give him shit about those pants.
Nice to have you back, Drones. We were discussing missions before you left, so kindly. I'll be curious to know.
I know.
What kind of missions? I mean, chat's gone off the radar on this. It's awesome. I'm trying to skip through. I'm going to save some of the guys' comments.
You know
guys
that I'm
made.
after the medical missions. I want to
You
do
and medical,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like I'm sticking to that. Give me the mission to come in, and actually here's a big twist on missions that I'm hoping for. Madness, you accept a mission to go
Yep.
collect a thing from a place. Other people have accepted a mission to hold that thing at that place.
Mhm.
And then because you're not doing so well, I get a mission to come rescue you. I'd like to see that type of shit. Like that
Okay.
player-driven missions that are just player after player after player being summoned into a particular region.
So do you think? Okay, so do you think you would be in a situation? So say for example, I'm defending a base, for example, and I need to call out missions for medical people to come and to fly in.
Yes.
And come in.
I
And
would
then,
like that. But
Well, that
before
will
we
put
carry
heat on you,
down
though.
that, I'd just like to address Angel's death comment.
Yeah.
That I'm sorry I dressed up for the podcast. I should have known better. It's my bad. Next podcast I get invited to, I promise you, pantless.
Pantless, yeah. Do
So
you know
go
what
on,
sounds?
sorry.
Dude, do you know what? Do you know what's really weird? Because I'm British, and because Americans refer to trousers as pants, but in the UK, pants basically means your underwear.
Right.
So when people say I'm going pantless, I always think that means you're full commando. So you basically tackle
Well, that's
out.
usually what we mean when we say it.
Is that what you mean? Because I was really kind of like, I
Yeah,
get
yeah. We
confused.
usually mean nude below the waist. It is
Nude,
kind of what we mean.
Okay.
The technical definition, yes, you're right. Technically speaking, it just means no pants. But when I say it, I'm thinking, why would
thinking
if you're not going to wear
free.
pants, why would you bother with anything else? Yeah.
What
Come
we'll
on.
do is drones to counteract this. We'll get angels on this podcast soon.
Yeah, Angels, you're more than
Cool.
welcome to come.
We'll
And other
criticize
people.
his way.
Why not? We could do with a girl's perspective. Right, it's all just sausage fest on right now.
A woman.
We need a
It's a
woman's perspective for sure.
Strong, independent woman.
Independent, right?
She's going to kill you guys in the game. You know
I
that,
just-
right?
yeah,
She destroys
yeah.
us.
Yeah, no problem.
Just saying.
So I'm trying to think. So like for me, like I'm trying to think of like unique gameplay, because like for me, one of my favorite, like I put this up before where I was talking about going into CryAstro and then I like a frozen sleep and then having missions, and I realized that was wrong. But what I was thinking was like wormhole. So this is my idea. This is my kind of dream. It sounds a bit stupid, but this is kind of my dream kind of like mission and kind of story, kind of role play-esque type of thing. Is like the idea is that you go into a wormhole and then all shit goes crazy and then you've crashed on a planet. And then you got to figure out how to survive. You have to repair your ship. You got to get back up. You maybe have to make contact with like the local alien indigenous people. It's a bit of role play. It's a bit MMO. Very kind of like that kind of thing. You have missions there that you communicate with them. You then maybe have to deal with nomads and you have to fight them off or whatever it is. You have to find Obi-Wan. And he kind of helps you out and all the rest of it. And that for me would be quite a cool mission. Or maybe you go into a wormhole and yeah, that for me would be fun. I would love the idea of crashing onto a planet and having that type of gameplay. I mean, I know everyone doesn't want necessarily survival based, but I love the idea of that's a solo type of gameplay. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's just you and NPCs, and that would be my favorite kind of quiet. If I was just on my own wanting to do exploration and stuff.
Maybe they will mark it down as different types of missions. So before you take the mission, in the top left corner, it has a little mark saying exploration.
Yeah.
Combat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Farming. Logistics. And that will.
Mobiglass, maybe the Mobiglass you'll be able to bring up. You'll have the specific.
I'm
type
interested.
Of
I'm most interested to see how they deal with the multiple player ship mechanics for missions. So we as a group accept a mission instead of I as a person accept a mission. Let's say talk in game. Say my javelin. I get enough people to crew it, and I say, okay, guys, we're going to go do a mission that's sized right for the ship. Let's do it.
You could really share missions,
Well,
you could say,
that's not,
share this.
But I want something that, the rewards scale to the number of players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. I know it. I think they do it in World of Warcraft as well. You could share your mission out if people have the right, are on the similar level or standing with for example, a certain faction, and you could share the mission out, and you obviously get still get a portion of the XP all, but it's not that you all get less. No, what you could do is normally if you would do this mission on your own, you have 3 people fighting against you or whatever. But now I'm doing this mission with 7 people. Now you have 20 people against you. And you really need to get at work in your javelin and man the stations to get it done. But the reward might be you might be getting an XP bonus or a money bonus because you're completing it with different people. I know in Final Fantasy, I think they do it where you get a bonus for helping newer players out, for example. You know what I mean? People that haven't done that sort of mission yet. You could do it that way, or you could say, okay, with 7 people, if you complete this, you could say, okay, I want to do this on hard, medium, or low. If you put it on hard, you all get extra bonus experience, a certain percentage, or bonus money. You know what I mean? UEC or something like that. I think they will do that pretty well. They should do at least, because that will incentivize.
If they'll have to scale the type of missions. So, say for example, like I was hearing what DrDronez was saying in terms of the more people. Obviously, they do it now with the type of ship you have to a degree. If you rock up in an Aurora, you tend. I mean, it's still a bit broken, but you tend. You should only really get like an equal opponent, maybe slightly bigger. Probably around about the same kind of level as your ship, if there's one rocked up in an Idris with 40
drones, by the way.
Sorry?
There you go.
It happens.
So if you had 40 people on an Idris or 40 ships or whatever, you would have an equal. It's not going to be the mission is just going to give you one ship as an opponent. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be super easy. They need to obviously scale the difficulty of the mission to match your strength. You know what I mean? The more skilled, to a sense, the more ships you have, more people.
You mean with the pirates that, for example, 4 or 5 pirates spawn when 3 people are in that instance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They will scale it, and
just improve it. The AI is not great. The AI is not great on it, and I hope that I know they're going to work on it and they'll improve it. But the AI is not great on the ships. I find the AI is not very smart on understanding. I mean, they do have it a little bit where, if I'm fighting something and then maybe I switch to the other person's target and then he gets killed, suddenly his ship sometimes a few seconds later can disappear, like just goes poof, and you just go, I've just wasted like the last 5 minutes trying to kill you or something, or 30 seconds, depending on how good you are. But that will be good. They'll fix that, definitely. There was another thing I was going to say about missions, but it's gone now. It doesn't matter. If anyone got any other
foot comes back, it's going to be interesting, and that's something. And I have to agree with Ron's there. I'm looking forward and how they're gonna scale it for you. And
I know they will. I just want to see how.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if I'll be flying my BMM alone. Am I going to be in the disadvantage? How much am I going to be in the disadvantage? You know what I mean? It's I'm interested to see how they're going to do that.
I want co-op. I want co-op missions, and I want to do missions where you get, like in Destiny. I want to do kind of raid style missions where you have to go through a set number of type of missions to get to like a big Vandal fight at the end of it or something, or a really big fight where that you have to bring mates with you to a degree. So there's obviously
again,
all that stuff. He's probably eating.
I can see.
Perfect. But what I don't want, man, is and that's something that DrDronez touched upon earlier as well. I want to have days where I don't want to listen to you or to anyone else that I normally play with, and I just want to be alone, you know what I mean? And I hope they cater to
They will.
to
They will.
to
I'm sure.
both sides of the medallion. You know what I mean? If I wake up at 9 in the morning and I have a day off and I don't want to hear anyone for the upcoming 3 hours and I still want to play the game, I they cater into that sort of things. You know what I mean?
Well, I think
they will.
It'll be that. I think that there will be certain types of missions which will require you to play as a group, and there'll be certain missions that will be fine for playing solo. I think they need to make sure that the rewards. Okay, here's my question to you. Do you think that the rewards for playing solo should be greater or smaller than playing as a group?
I don't think you should make a difference in between the two, because then you're creating the meta again, because people will play the missions that gives the biggest reward. So I don't think you need to
Not all the time. You just said it. Some days you won't want to play with all your mates. You'll just play solo. You just hang out and chill out and do your own
Maybe you
thing.
need to accommodate to the situation in the verse. You know what I mean? For example, if certain factions are fighting, you get extra experience or money for going to fight for one of those factions, for example. But I wouldn't differentiate solo gameplay or other game. But I think maybe more people gameplay should get more money or more reward, because then you incentivize people working together, especially on bigger ships.
Yeah.
But it's tough, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to create a certain meta. I hope that they don't create a meta somewhere where everyone is doing that certain type of mission with a certain amount of people, because that gives you the biggest thing. Because what you get then, and you see that a lot in MMOs at the moment, everyone is playing the same content because that is bringing the best thing. You want to spread it out so people have multiple options to get a similar thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it really destroys things in games. For example, in certain games, people are not doing a certain thing because it does not give the reward that something else does. So everyone is doing that same thing. You see what I mean, man?
Well, look, I think like Papa. I'm reading what some people say. Some people are smaller, some people are greater. Some people. I agree with Papa in the sense, like, as well. He says, that I remember in exploration, for example, in Eve, you could be on your own, solo gameplay, and you could find a really, really rare blueprint or like a really rare, bit of information that's worth huge amounts of money, as a solo player. However, if you're going to be doing dogfighting or engaging in combat with another ship, for example, I would imagine the cargo ships and the bigger ships are going to hold obviously good amounts of loot. But the reality is to take them down as a solo pilot, unless you're maybe rocking a big Polaris or some sort of huge ship that you can fly on your own, or maybe an Eclipse with 3 size 9 torpedoes. The reality is that you're going to need your mates to take that out. So you're going to have to share out the loot amongst your mates. So again, the risk for me, it's about reward and risk and all that kind of thing. I think the mechanics that Eve does very well with the exploration, giving you really good financial rewards as a solo player, is great, and I think that makes sense. And the same with mining. It's like in Eve, it's a steady income. You know what I mean? It's like it's a guaranteed steady, pretty much a steady income that you're going to get. It's not loads of money. You're not going to get super, super rich on it, but it's fun, and you've got your mates, and maybe you can get more money as a group of you, and you can have things set, slightly different, because obviously you can set the game off to play. And I think it'll be fun mining. I'm really interested to see how the mining works and the reward, how they're going to set up the financial reward for what is quite a tedious job, as far as I can see, in terms of the way they've described it, because it's going to be one person working on the laser, and then you're going to have potentially mates watching the laser and making sure it doesn't explode, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be that simple.
But you will not always be in the opportunity to play with people as well. If that is your own personal mental state at that point, or the availability of people. You don't. And there will be certain things where you might not want to take randoms because it is a bit tricky and etc. So you want to cater to both sides of the medallion. It's tough. You know what I mean? And it's not always game related. You might. In the worst case scenario, you might not have any friends to play with. It will incentivize you to try and get friends to play with, but
don't call me out for not having any friends.
Listen, I'm your friend, man. Don't fucking worry about that. I got your back. You know this, Ron. Well,
I know.
There will be different factors for different people why they could not play with people at that point in time. And I still would love to see incentivizing multiplayer over solo, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think that is the power of this game, but there will be days that I want to be chilling alone on my banner merchantman, for example. And I still want to be able to fly it around and do things, maybe not with the greatest rewards or, and I have to fly up and down 10 times instead of 5 times, but still,
I think that's the this is where these luxury ships kind of like, I start to understand like how much fun it would be to have a 600i or whatever, where I can just fly onto a really beautiful planet somewhere
and chill out
and just get the just park the ship up. And then just kind of like get to the back of the ship and just get a drink. And watch the sun come down over there, and you watch, the.
But that's what I said last week,
planets and everything, and you just kind of look at it, and you just go, "Yeah, this is good." And then just as you're about to put the glass to your mouth, someone snipes you in the back of the head.
Or not.
No.
Or not. And that's what I said last week, Menace. There will be times that I just want to be chilling with you three, and we're talking on Discord, and we're hanging about in the Merchantman, for example, and I don't want anything to do with anyone else in the world. And I hope that we get those opportunities to do these sort of things as well, role-play wise. You know what I mean? I land on a planet. Drones and Madness are in the bar. Let's go to the bar. Let's chill out. You guys, let's come into my ship. We'll watch We'll watch the Nox race in between Captain Kim and Paddy Boyington, you know what I mean? I hope that we can create such situations where we can do those things, and I think that is, role play is a strong part. I think we all play these kind of things with a role play element in it, you know what I mean? We see ourselves as space PvPers, fighters, we see ourselves as doctors, we see ourselves as logistics guys, we see ourselves as trading moguls. We play games, and human plays games because he enjoys that and he wants to place himself in that. Look at racing games.
Dust, Okay, so I'm going to move us on to something slightly different.
Yeah.
So this is an interview I don't know if everyone's seen this. If you haven't seen this was a Chris Roberts interview, and he was asked some stuff, and this is a transcript from it. So I'm just going to read through some of it. If you haven't heard it, if you've read it before and you know about it, fine. But basically, it's just a few interesting things on here which I thought was really interesting. So, is it possible to stealth hijack a ship so all the oxygen goes out? Chris Roberts replied to say that yes, decompression the ship will definitely be possible. If you blow a door open, then all the atmosphere inside will go out, which is kind of interesting. So if, for example, you were to be sneaking onto a ship and say you were just lounging in your loungewear, you had your pants off, you didn't have a spacesuit on, and somebody was to blow open the door. Yeah, exactly. Someone was to suddenly blow the door open, all the atmosphere is out of it. I wonder how long, if there's going to be a time to get somewhere to get your health, or if it will be an immediate death. I'd be quite interested, or because they showed it before on the games when they showed the demo at this year at Gamescom. They said how if they took the spacesuit off, the helmet off for a brief amount of time, his health didn't look, it lasted very long. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was long enough to go running up to put a spacesuit on. But then they showed the Mobiglass.
Has it.
But then they showed the Mobiglass that you can put your armor on from your Mobiglass. So I was like, well, in that sense, technically, if somebody blows out the door and the airlock gas goes, you immediately put your Mobiglass up and you immediately select your light armor or whatever, and it immediately pops on, and then you're good to go. That's the way
I'm hoping that most ships are smart enough to seal all the bulkheads, so that unless you're in the room where the decompression occurred, you might have a good chance.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. If you look at Hellion, and I don't want to compare it too much with Hellion, you have a certain amount of time before you realize that you don't have a helmet on, and DrDronez has done it, and I have done it. Open up the airlock, and you see the veins on the
so many times.
Yeah. And you still have time to, I put my helmet on, or put my visor down, otherwise I'm fucked.
Okay, so here's the thing. So Chris Robert goes on to say, depending on the scale of your ship, you would probably be able to vent the ship from the pilot's seat.
That would be cool. So someone is sneaking up on you, and you see that he's in a certain room, and you suck all the oxygen out of the room.
But he also goes on to say, in 3.0, you'll be able to blow the doors and the atmosphere will go out of the ship. So at the moment, we saw in the Gamescom demo, they were shooting at the doors to try and make the doors do anything, and nothing happened to the doors on the back, the side doors or the back doors, nothing, unless anyone saw anything change. You couldn't blow any of those doors off at all on the Cutlass and stuff. So they're obviously still working on that. And then someone was saying about this is the interesting thing. This is what I want to know more about, the mechanics. So he says, the Reclaimer processing room, is there a mini game to salvage ships, or is it going to be automatic? So Chris Roberts responds saying, no, we're going to have actual gameplay. First of all, If you see a wreckage, you need to go out there and separate the items, which is interesting. Like a gun attached to a blown up wing, you have to detach the gun and recover it as an item you can sell. Then you can salvage the actual debris and turn this into an equivalent of iron ore, and then you can go sell it. So in a strange way, he almost like created a whole nother game mechanic and ignored the answer in a way to the question, because the guy wanted to know about the processing room and he just talked about salvaging outside in space, which was quite funny. It does, the way he describes it is a very slow process. It does seem to be that, we're going to be like in Titan AE at the beginning of the cartoon, just hovering around in space. Your mates will be outside just kind of like, with welding torches, detaching things.
But that's interesting though, man. I like that,
Yeah, so
That's good.
I do as well. I don't know.
It creates a possibility for people to sneak up on you while you're doing that. For example, it creates so many gameplay scenarios, which I think is so great, man. Having that fear that you might be sneaked up on any moment. Risk. We always come back to that risk and reward thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to take that risk. Mm-hmm. Is someone close? You need someone maybe on the radar inside, thinking, "Oh, we need to watch it." If someone going to fuck us up. It's a very good example, and sorry for bringing in Hellion again. It's the intro movie of Hellion, where people think there is there's something going on his spaceship, but basically
it's a distress
beacon. But basically, someone is fucking them over and blows them up eventually. You know what I mean? And I like that sort of gameplay. Where a scenario could have 5, 6, 7 different outcomes, and depending on how you play it, how safe you play it, how not safe you play it, maybe you couldn't know, you know what I mean? And having that factor in there is great, because you could be doing the mission. If it would be straightforward, you going from A to B and you get it done, but there are so many branches that it could go to that it makes it really interesting. Salvage won't just be salvaging, it will also be checking your radar, making sure that no one comes up on you. Two salvagers might want to salvage the same thing. Are they going to fight for it? Are they going to say, okay, let's make a gentleman's agreement? There are so many different outcomes to such things.
Salvaging is going to be it's well, with the reclaimer and all that stuff, everyone's very excited. It brings up a whole story of it's very exciting. Here's an interesting thing for so Death of the Spaceman is still in the plans and they're working on it. They're going to do it, so that's definitely in. The Star Marine, they're expanding potentially on the map, and they're going to have a level that will involve planetary combat. And they're also working very much towards kind of like almost making it more tactical and realistic in the realms of more of an armor style combat, rather than a kind of Call of Duty style combat. So as I did do the FPS side, I know Drones, you do the FPS side as well. I mean, how does that does that more appeal to you, more of an armor style, or were you still more you preferred more of the fast paced bang bang Call of Duty style?
Mostly the fast paced, but realistically, like I've said before, the only reason I'm into that stuff right now is because medical stuff's not in yet. So once they put the medical stuff in, I'm going to have that to do, and that'll be my main focus. So I don't really care what they do with the first-person shooting modules.
Okay.
I really don't.
I think it's interesting they're going down that more armor side. I think by them going down more the armor side, it feels like they could potentially end up introducing more of the kind of the PUBG style kind of battle royale, maybe kind of version of a kind of a map and stuff. That kind of gameplay, I think, would actually suit quite well the the way that the game is.
Yeah. What it is, man? Is because we only have Star Marine at the moment, which is more Call of Duty, I should say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it quite fits. It doesn't quite fit with the game, though.
No.
If I'm being honest.
But that's why it's a complete different game mode, obviously, like Arena Commander. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't quite. I mean, I like it, but
fighter people, FPS people.
I like that gameplay, but I think the problem is that so many other games do it better, and I think it's.
But you don't want that in the verse. You know what I mean? In the verse, you want more the Arma style, I should call it, where you have time to revive people, where you need to think tactically, where you have the death of the spaceman, where you have the risk and reward thing again. And that makes it a lot more interesting, because losing alive is a lot more. You don't have a system where I had 20 kills and 5 deaths. No, you can't have that in space.
I think for me,
armor gameplay.
So I think for me they need to, in order for example, for someone's mentioned in chat about medics, and I agree with them, for the kind of like DrDronez style kind of medic type of gameplay, a slightly slower based game actually helps A little bit.
No, I agree.
Yes.
Unless you're doing kind of like Overwatch style with Mercy kind of flying around with a laser that heals people, which just doesn't feel like the type of gameplay that would fit with Star Citizen. It just wouldn't fit with it at all. So you need to slow it down.
Yeah, especially now with the Death of the Spaceman thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
See you later, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yo,
see you later.
But it's in the considering the Death of the Spaceman thing, it needs to be a lot slower process. You know what I mean? Because you need to give someone that wants to do a job like drones the chance to heal someone. You know,
you need to give them the chance.
Well,
for
also keep in mind.
Go for it.
Keep in mind, you're not looking at just the healing on the battlefield. You're also looking at the chance of no. Hear me out. You're also looking at the chance that you got killed on the battlefield, and now you're in that situation where if you don't have a player to revive you, you're not going to revive. So you need the player to take whatever actions to keep you alive one more time.
But next to that, as what I meant with the ships is, what is the point of a medical bay if you don't have the chance to put someone in the medical bay? So they will have to think about those things as well. You know, having the Cutlass Red there. You know, different stages of someone. You know, for example, someone is shot in the arm. I can patch him up temporarily, but he still needs eventually to be brought to a medical bay so we can completely patch him. What you could, for example, do is you have a health bar. So you get shot in the arm. The total health bar will go down a bit compared to the maximum health, and you could still go down there. To get that back to the maximum health, you need to go to a medical bay to full on get revived. You know what I mean? So you could have a moving bar, for example, and by using a medical bay, you can bring it back to the standard as it was. But because you have been shot in the arm, you only have this left, and on the battlefield, only this can be healed. You know what I mean? So you will have that. You want that extension back.
Yep.
You need to go, and that's where you get the gameplay in of a medical base / Cutlass Red or that sort of things.
I would just because Kundam, you're saying about the Cutlass Red being as big as the black, it's going to be the same hull, right? So I would imagine it be exactly the same size. It's just all they do is they internally change things, so it'll be the same.
I hope it's bigger. I hope the red's bigger.
You think they'll make it actually physically bigger?
Drones want.
I said I hope they do. I didn't say I think they will.
They're not going to do. I don't believe they'll do a whole new ship. I mean, that would be amazing if they did. But they'll be making component parts. So I mean, I reckon they'll just reshuffle the back of it a little bit, and they'll add mods. There'll be lots of medical gear and trauma treatment, and there's. Do you know what else interesting is? Do you think like the medical guys will get extra oxygen, for example? Like their gear, you have a special med suit that enables you to have like much longer oxygen, so you can stay alive.
Less armor, maybe.
Yeah, maybe less armor, but more oxygen. So
that brings in gameplay that where you have to protect the medical guy. It will probably be, and I don't know if you guys ever played military simulation like in Arma, you know. Those people will stay behind a bit on the battlefield, for example, or each section has a field medic, but also you have the medical team, as I said earlier, that are sitting in the back in an ambulance or in the ship
protects the medic. Yeah,
and you have to bring him back. You know,
I'd protect the medic. I love the idea of protecting me. I think it's fun. I'd like, protect the medic. Do you know what? Maybe they'll have
the medical.
They'll have hovering. Like, you know, the stretchers, so you'll be able to get the guy's body onto like you have like a cool like hovering thing that you can whip out from your backpack or something, and then you know the body can kind of like go onto like a hovering thing, and then you have to take it back to the ship type thing. That'd be super cool.
This is why I want a red edition Dragonfly, and it fucking makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, you can load them up.
Give me a sled on the back of a Dragonfly. Call it the Dragonfly Red.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Or medical vehicle of any kind would be I'm completely
there's a rover with,
land-based medical rover or a cyclone
ambulance. Just a fucking ambulance.
That makes complete sense to me. That would be awesome. I love the idea of that.
About naughty nurses now.
I love the idea of that. Yeah, Harley's getting excited. She's like, ooh. Then he goes on. There's a few other things. They talk about a few other bits and bobs in there. I've linked in the
medical Argo. There you go. I would be okay with the medical Argo too. That would be a good choice.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. But what you'll see is in military simulation when we did it, you have all the squads going out for the fights, but the medics will always stay with HQ with command. You know what I mean? And they will only come out to pick people up. But you also have the field medics that are attached to the fighting sections but they can only do limited things, for example. So you would always have, and that's when you go into the military simulation where the cut style is not even close, because you could the game mechanic, you could revive someone on the battlefield but what we did is no, you can't do that. There is a system that doesn't allow you to do that. You have to bring him back physically to the vehicle before you can completely revive him. Otherwise, he can't run, for example, or the gun sways because his arm is wounded. And those mechanics, I think, would be great for a playstyle like Drones ones. And that's what I love to see in the game as well. Tactical playstyle, that's what I want to see. People making choices, people making smart choices, sometimes making stupid choices with consequences. And oh, man, I can't wait for those things, man. I can't wait.
I love the Dragonfly Red idea. I mean, yeah, it looks like there's a thread on Spectrum about it, but I can't get it to open, unfortunately, for some reason.
Yeah, I can't get the thread.
It won't open. It's a lie, Gundam. You lie. It's all lies.
Shit up.
It's all lies. But I think that's cool. I mean, I'd be curious as well with police. When they have potentially police kind of style NPCs for ground vehicles, and
Yes, Captain Carrot. I agree completely. I would love to. Fly down to a planet, my Cutlass Red, land it to pick someone up, jump out in a red dragonfly, go grab them, and come back. And
sirens going, woo, woo, woo.
Yes, give me sirens.
Drones.
Lights, too.
Get the lights, the sirens, everything, horn. Yeah, you can jump out with a full kind of gear on, trauma suit, ready to go.
Fuck yeah.
Smoking hot assistants sat there waiting for you.
Throwing grenades so I can get to the person that needs healing.
Drones patches him up. He comes back with 2 nails in the side of his head, 2 coils like Frankenstein because Drones patched him up.
I like that. I like that a lot. So right, I'm just going to quickly.
Angel's Death, you're hired. That'll work perfectly. We got it. We have the dragonfly situation sorted.
Is that Angel sitting on the back screaming? Yeah.
Yes. It's a solution. It's a siren. It counts.
True.
God.
True. Madness is completely. He doesn't know where to pick it up anymore.
I don't know. I'm completely lost. We've completely it's just fantastic. I'm having a really good time.
Yes, I agree, Crazed. I would like to see Ursa variants that do less combat,
different things. Yeah.
More, like you said, engineering, surveying, medical, maybe even something for
exploration,
basic mining, not something that you'd pull out a ton of resources.
Just
but maybe
whisper me. Tell me you want to put a link in, and I will let you. I'll copy and paste it. I'll put my name in. Hello. You can send me whispers, and then I will chuck it in. If you want.
I want to see some more questions.
Otherwise,
guys.
we could get all sorts of crazy shit on this stuff. Oh, questions. We got any questions going? If we're going to go into question time in a bit. I don't
know if it's me that it doesn't have the, but I should have. So you want to check for me because I can't see any questions. I don't know if it's me or that people just didn't ask any questions. Otherwise, ask us fucking questions.
Yeah, just put, if you want to ask questions for the guys, just put it in brackets as well with question, and I'll just I'll just pick them up.
I saw a question earlier: is the Banu Merchantman worth its money? Put it in the questions because I myself or Drones or Madness would love to answer such a question. Towards the end of the podcast, guys. So definitely put it in there. Those are the type of questions that
all the things people ask, and you pulled out the Merchantman.
Oh, I got him. Here, we've got.
Yeah, it's something that I picked up. But
chuck in the questions, and I can do the responses. But I don't think we've got any questions just yet. So.
Perfect. So
you can't go to questions times, but just chuck whatever you guys want to do. You can answer questions in the forum. I will try and pick up questions.
To keep up with chat sometimes because there's so much going on and we miss things. If you put it in the question stuff, we definitely bring it up and we'll gladly answer all your questions.
Yeah.
Stupid questions we obviously reconsider if it's vulgar or if it's certain things that we don't appreciate. But and any questions, just put them in there and we'll decide if we answer them or not.
We'll go through them and we'll chat about them and see where conversations go because you guys have been blowing up in chat tonight and I'm loving it. It's great.
I love it. We've been very interactive today. Normally we follow more the AtV style And but I love this, man, and it's been really good with everyone as well. To be honest,
Is the X1 look cool to you? This is the question. Well, actually, as we were, yeah, I mean that's a good question. Do I think it looks cool? I
don't like it, but it's a personal preference.
Oh, I don't know. I need to see more. Do I think it looks cool?
What is your artistic view on it? If you look at it from a shoe designer's perspective, what do you see here? If you had to describe it in 3 words, what 3 words would it be?
Over-designed.
That was 2.
I can't. Yeah,
Stuff right. I have the same.
I mean, we've already got an issue with the Nox falling over. I want to know how that's going to stand on the ground.
They're gyro stabilized assholes.
Oh right, okay, just as good as the Nox right now. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It worked for the Nox. Let's use it here.
Hey, there we are. We're up right, and then you get one hit, and it's like starts spinning. I'm not, like I said, I can't comment. I need to see more of it. It doesn't light a fire underneath me like the Nox did. The Nox lit a fire underneath me. It might be because it's a funny sitting position. Do you know what I mean? It just seems a bit of a strange. It seems a bit weird, the seating position. So, but I need to see more.
This actually does remind me of, there was a motorcycle, like real life motorcycle, that had a gyro stabilizer in it, and this thing looks very similar. I'm just going to throw this out there. There's a YouTube video.
All right, let's check it out.
That you could totally play.
All right, I'm doing it. Oh, what this is? Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It's the same fucking thing.
Is this
the same thing?
This is what?
Just watch it.
I'm watching.
It's the same bike.
What are we watching?
They're holding it though.
No, they're not anymore.
Wait,
they're not anymore.
They're holding it to give it acceleration and bring it out.
But this is like Akira style stuff that they showed us before now. Akira kind of
does not fall over. Is that what it is?
But it's not got wheels though.
That's what it is.
It's not got wheels. But this is Akira style. They've been doing this type of thing. I love the Akira bikes, man. I would love if they did an Akira style bike.
X1 right here.
If they did an Akira style kind of like bike in Star Citizen, I would immediately buy it just because I just want that type of bike. You know what I mean? Long, like crouch back, Akira style with guns on the front. I would just
that's how it stays vertical.
That little gyroscope thing.
Oh, look at that! So if it goes into a collision, it can stabilize itself.
Yes.
BMW has that. I think a prototype. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty sexy. But it's not, again, though, it needs wheels.
There's your X1. Merry Christmas.
It's not got wheels, though. It doesn't sit like that. If he sat like that, I would think it would be a bit better, but
it looks pretty sick, though.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm liking that.
It looks pretty sick.
But yeah,
if you could sequel on it, though, but it looks sick.
But whereas that one's not got the wheel, like stick the wheels in and then maybe. But then it's not going to be fast.
I'm sorry that their hover technology hasn't caught up yet.
Yes, unfortunately. Damn it. No, I want to, like me and Miz, I said to Miz the other day when we were on planet, I want to feel that sense of speed more. The Nox has lost it by being too hovering in the sky. I want to have that ground, low to the ground.
I like that though.
Racing over the dirt.
Yeah, I agree
spraying
with you,
everywhere and just like, awesome. Not the Cyclone's not going to do it.
The one that Drone said earlier, the Dragonfly, has a certain appeal to it as well, because it's a way different style from a Nox, you know what I mean? It has more that trike kind of thing, where the Nox has more that race bike kind of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. I like that. You know, you would see these desert nomads on a Dragonfly, for example, because that fits the purpose more in that case, you know, where the Nox is just a pure speed racer or something like that, you know.
Okay.
Which is great as well. But the X1, I don't know, man. It will fit the ship, obviously. You know what I mean? It's the same with the 85Xs and the 890 Jump. I don't know if they're going to.
So What we're going to do, Saul, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into question time. So first, people just throw questions into chat. People throw questions into chat. People throw questions if they want to into the question thing. What we'll do is we'll just spit with. We're kind of doing it as we're going along this evening. So we'll go through the questions. We'll go through questions through chat as much as we can. We'll try and pick up on things. If we miss it again, feel free to repost it in 30, 40 seconds if you want to. It's fine.
Exactly.
I'll try and pick it up again. And we'll just kind of go through it and we'll see where we go for the next half an hour and stuff, and then we'll end it.
You want me to start the ones that we have in the forum?
Well, I've got one first. So there was one question about the Game Changer ship, which was from...
oh my God, not again the Game Changer ship, right?
The Game Changer ship. Now, this is going to be hard for me.
How many times have we heard this?
Well, basically it says, the Game Changer ship. I can't think of a current one that is in the pipeline. So what kind of ship would be a game changer that comes out in 3.0? That's a really, really hard question.
Idris.
What would be a game-changing ship? Wow. I'm going to divert to the other guys whilst they're trying to think.
I say a capital kind of ship like Idris or Javelin will be a game-changer ship eventually, because that will every big ship, that's my answer. Every bigger ship than we got now will be a game-changer.
There's only one game changer in the game, the Javelin.
The Javelin, yeah. Definitely Javelin or Idris, I would say, would be game-changer ships when they come out.
It's got to be new though. The point is that it's a new.
But we don't know. It's just speculation,
I know, but that's the point. They want to hear creatively. What do you think if you could create a game-changing ship?
Oh, it'd be the Retribution. I mean, bring the Retribution, and that's the game changer. Put that in game.
You see, for me, because they've always said that they won't introduce cloaking, then that would be, for me, if you could introduce cloaking, that would be a game changer in terms of fighting and stuff. But they won't ever bring that in because they've got stealth in a different way.
Yeah.
So game changing ships. I mean, God, that's a hard one. I can't. I honestly, right now, I need to really go away and think about it. I couldn't think about it in 5 seconds. I really couldn't.
No, maybe we can come back on it. I'll grab the first question that we have on the question form, which I think is a very interesting question. So the question is from a freelancer there.
Yeah.
And his question is for everyone, or hers. Does anyone here wish to know what the hell is going on with the freelancer Durham Max? And I think this is a really interesting question. Every post or topic about them always gets ignored by the devs because they are supposed to be finishing this coming weekend. I think it's a really interesting question, because if we look at the ship pipeline that we had a while back, Freelancer Max was on there, and that was actually the first ship that I ever owned. That was a ship, the commercial of the Freelancer is
they
what
still
got
are.
me.
They're still on the Max and the Dura and all the rest of it. They're still on the timeline. They're still on the schedule report. They're still there.
Well, we haven't seen anything yet.
They're going. Well, no, we haven't seen anything yet. But they're being worked. They are going to be worked on. I'm trying to think who works on it from the team who works on that actual ship, because I know that they have to move obviously guide designers around, so depending on the priorities of ships. So they I think one of the guys was working on the ship and then he's been switched over to finish the Phoenix, for example. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it soon. Actually, to be honest, some sneaky peeky stuff.
I definitely hope.
I think they need to show us more. They need to show us the more of the, like we talked about it, less of the combat ships. There's only one combat ship left, the Saber Raven, just to really kind of see what's going on with that. After that, it's the Starliners, it's the Freelancers, it's the, all the variants of that. It's the mining ships. This part of the year, I mean, at the beginning of the year, the first 6 months of this year were supposed to be combat ships, and the last 6 months of this year were supposed to be more civilian-esque type of ships. That's what we're supposed to have seen.
I think we're going into really exciting times when it comes to ship creation, Menace, and not because I don't like the combat too much, but we're going to see all these specialty ships dripping out slowly, you know what I mean? Specialty ships that require certain mechanics, specialty ships that require mechanics that we might get in 3.0. We're going to see all these things. I think in the beginning of the year was a bit boring because it was all combat, you know what I mean? And it's all the same at the end of the day. But now we're going to see slowly the mining ships coming. We're going to see the passenger ships coming. We're seeing the logistics. So we're going to see a big variety come on now. I think it's going to be a really exciting period when it comes to the development of ships.
Well, this This appears to be the ships that we've received recently. So we've had the Eclipse, we've had the Defender, we've got the Hurricane, we've had the Cyclone, we've had the Nox, we've had the 600i. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But most of this is all concept, by the way. What I want to see is
This isn't concept. This is already. This is white. This is almost. This is getting really close to be done. This is almost being done. This is almost. They're good. Their modeling is good, man.
The question is I think physical ships that we can fly or are hangar ready, right? Because we haven't seen that. We've seen the Freelancer Max, but it's hangar ready, but the upgrade isn't there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see more physical things in game that we can use. What are you laughing about, drones?
NVIDIA asked, does the 600i punch above its weight class? To which I responded, but is it the tip of the spear?
the truth,
we have what, 3 tip of the spear ships?
It depends. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the person piloting it, I think, as well. I mean, again, this all comes back to skill as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that you just can't put down on a piece of on a spreadsheet. You know, it's like I am better with mass drivers, for example, than either of these two. And this Soul might be better flying a Cutlass or whatever, you know, delivering something. It's down to
play style, skill. It has a lot of.
Yeah, I punch miles above my weight in a Gladius. People can't I've inspired people to buy Gladiuses because of my ability to kill Super Hornets and Gladiuses and things like that, and all sorts of ships. You know, because I'm practiced and I know good loadouts.
I punched above my weight class with grenades. I mean, what does that tell you?
Exactly. Who would have expected?
I'm terrible at Storm Marine, but give me a grenade.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I punch above my weight with my beauty.
So yes, you can punch away over your weight. I would say in a 600.
Next question. What is the coolest piece of lore to you? And this is a question to everyone. And this comes from Dog One.
The coolest piece of lore that I know of.
You want to start off, Drones? Man, there's a bit of time. I can start, but you know where this is going with my part of the lore. So I think, and I'm going to say Bano again, but I think the creation of the races and the lore behind it is what I like the most. You know, giving someone the character, and a good example is the Bano, giving them a certain character, giving a backstory to them. What do these people do? How does their society work? Those are the things that I like the most. I'm not too fussed about the whole creation of planets and why are they there. I like it. Why do the Bano exist? What do they do in their life? Why do the Xian exist? What do they do in their life? What is their culture? What is their way of developing, etc. That is what I love, and that's this stuff I drool over. Basically, I love it.
I think
the most interesting piece of lore to me is pretty much the whole Cabal system. If you guys haven't seen the Lore Makers on Cabal, go check it out. It was a really good one. In particular, I think it's Cabal 2 or 3. It's a Tavaran planet where they basically just left. And all their shit's still there. All the buildings are still there, but they've disappeared. So things like that interest me, where there's a little bit of mystery. We know it was around the time of the war, so they probably left to fight, but it's just that there's an entire planet that's empty.
Yeah, that's a good one. The reason why it's empty, etc. It might be. What about you, Manus? You have anything that you?
Well, I think for me, the loring side of things that I love is again because I'm a visual person from the kind of pictures and stuff. So for me, when I see them talk about the stories of the empires and the alien races, similar to you in a sense, so I love seeing when I see them talk about the history and the kind of the styling of each of the races, and then when I see the artwork behind them and I see them, immediately I get chills when I see the artwork and I think of the backstories of the alien, and I want to go to immediately at the pictures and I see the lore and I see the stories behind the Tavarans and the Vandals and stuff, and I want to go to their planets and see their planets and see their alien, see their technology and it just makes me that's what I want in life. If I could just be like a spaceman and have that future and be able to fly around in spaceships, it would be just so cool.
Yeah, that's why I think I love Jaylee's work as well. It's for example, you have Harry. Harry is a man. But what makes Harry that sort of man? That's why I think people like Jay Lee, you know, the how do you call it? Character creators, you know, bring something what's in your head onto that piece of paper and draw it out, and it's what you say, Madness gives me chills, you know, for them to come up with something and give it a package around it, because Harry is just Harry. Well, what makes Harry special, you know what I mean? And for them to have people with such creative minds, I have so much appreciation for these people that can translate something that's, for example, in Chris's head or in these people's heads, and translate it into something that is believable, you know what I mean? I think that is the biggest thing, the believability, you know.
I mean, my naturally my favorite race is the Vandal. I love the idea of the Vandal. I love the fact that they are like kind of like scavengers and kind of like, you know, kind of Klingon-esque warriors, and they love to just kind of you know, their ships are like, you know, skull-esque, and like their ship, you know, the chest of it's like a chess piece, like skeleton, you know, is the kingship, and I love all the styling, and you know, the fact that it's like literally they live on the move type of thing, you know, in the way that, you know, they are similar in a sense to the Banu in a way. You know, the kingship is basically a huge city ship, and they just like locusts, you know, move from, you know, absorbing what they can. I mean, yeah, you know. The whore, yeah,
it's good, yeah. No, it's what you say. Every race has its own character, you know. You say what you say with the Vandal, the scavengers, the Banu are a bit more the sophisticated, highly skilled people, you know. Then you have the humans; they have a bit of everything. I think, you know what I mean. They have bits of everything, and I love that, you know. And that really gets you involved and sucked into that game at the end of the day, you know. That is what lore is, and I think some people underestimate it. They say, oh no, we just want chips and we just want to fight. Lore in a game makes or breaks a game, I think. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is such a big part of the game.
Well, it just brings authenticity to stuff. You know?
Exactly.
It brings that sense of like when people it just enriches everything. For the people that want to do role playing, it just means that everything has a reason and you can understand things, and it creates wonderful stems of design creativity, and it gives the guys at the other end who are creating things this, you know, here's the book on the Vandal, bang. And the guys just like, they'll spend time, they have all the pictures and the drawings, and then they'll be like, okay, this fits with that race. This design that I'm coming up with fits with them, and I can take that and go off on a tangent and then maybe reel it back again as a design and a creation. And the music is the same, you know, the guys who create the music, they'll be like, okay, this is this people, and it sounds like this, and it works like this, and it's super cool. I mean, I like it. I'm not going to lie, I don't spend ages sitting around watching lore videos and documentaries and stuff, but I certainly kind of like look over some of the pictures and the visual pictures of the stuff, and kind of I'm very interested in the basics of each of the religions, but I don't deep dive into it personally. It's because it's words, and for me reading is being dyslexic, I find it a bit difficult. So I'm very much a visual person, so I look at the pictures and make up my own kind of versions of it. So next question is, we've got another question all in there, or is there? Do you want me to read it?
No, we had another one in there, but that was the same question you asked earlier, the game changer ship. So I think that.
So it's a question for you.
There are a couple that have scrolled by in chat since you.
Just I'll go back through some of the questions in chat. Sorry, I'll scroll up and grab some of them. Someone says, I'll let you guys answer this whilst I do that. I am the owner of the Banu Defender. How do you think they will fix the blind spot problem on it? Well, I think they've already talked about this. I think they've already. Didn't they fix the Nox had an issue where it was just the positioning of the camera and they maneuvered it. Yeah. They're well aware and they're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Also, if you keep your targets in front of you, it's not an issue.
It's like driving a truck, you know. You need to make sure that they put a little mirror on the top of it so you can look around the. No, I think they're as Madness said, they're on it. Yeah, so.
They're
Do we have some other ones in there, Matty?
We've got another one. I can read out who it's from. It's from Gundam Citizen. He asks, the Aurora has eye hooks. Do you think they will let us use the Argo to transport this craft around?
No.
So So this is interesting because this. Do you think like I'm of the mind? I'd love to see like old school grappling kind of like things, like
I would love to see that.
Like where you can kind of launch like a grappling, high pressured grappling thing, especially considering we're going to have issues with ships. Once you disable a ship, that effectively its velocity will still continue because we're in space. There's nothing to stop it other than you physically having either a tractor beam or like old school kind of pirate-esque boarding, firing a grappling hook, hook on and try and pull
I hate to go back to the Hellion mentality, but you could, in theory, just speed match.
Speed match.
If you're moving at the same speed, if you're moving at the same velocity, same direction, and everything that I am, then I can easily travel from my ship to your ship in space without a grapple.
Oh, and what about coming out of you? Because I'm interested. So let's say you want, then you can get close, but obviously you're still going to have to effectively, unless you can like launch like a bridge or a docking tube or something to lock onto another ship, you're going to have to exit your ship and get into them. You'll be okay because you'll still have the speed.
Matter.
You'll physically be still moving at the speed, and then you can just increase the speed to catch up with it. Okay, cool.
Because it's space. There is no I don't know the word for it. But if you both are...
Speed is all relative to your target.
Yeah, exactly. It's all relative. So if both targets are at the same speed and you jump out, you can still travel in between because everything is going on the same speed, basically.
And you've still got the risk, though, obviously, of atmosphere. I guess if you were to blow an airlock as you come out, they could get hit by the atmosphere.
And you blow away.
And you get blown away.
You need to get back onto track, you know what I mean?
Madness, we got to get you into Hellion for a little while.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Well, I played it briefly, and like I said, I got it was funny, kind of coming out of the I got blown out of the airlock and went all over the place.
I told him, Shift is your friend in this game, man.
I was like, holy shit. I was like, what the hell? I was suddenly like just watching my ship just disappear
what we'll
slowly.
Do is, man, is this week somewhere, if you got time, and Drones probably has as well, then we'll just do a stream and we'll go into Hellion, man. I'm definitely excited to show you, and I think you can really get ideas out of that, how things could work in
not to compare the games, but there are definitely a lot of comparisons to how space mechanics could be done right and wrong.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's enough to say about that as well. I think we had a question here from and forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. Citaro. He says, Mac morph to ship, yes or no?
I said yes.
Sorry.
I would love to do a mech morph into a ship.
A mech morph into a ship.
So you have a certain suit on that can become a flight suit or something, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was curious. I was trying to figure out. I was thinking Mech Force. I was thinking Mac. I was thinking something else.
Like a Titan, you know what I mean?
Oh, like wing, like a wings type of suit type thing. Is that what you mean? Like you can kind of, as you come out of...
No, you know what a Titan is, right? Like a mech warrior.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, they've got the Titan. They're doing the mech type of vehicle in the game, right? So this could be a thing, maybe. I personally would rather it just be a
without
alien...
a jump drive. Then I would say yes.
I don't want any of that. And no,
I think it would be cool though.
I don't want. I would like to have just, if they're gonna have any type of mechs, I want them to be start off purely for loading cargo, like in Aliens. Some mech suits for that, and then I would like, if I want to have something that's going to enable me to fly around, it needs to be either jetpacks or kind of like parachute-y type of cool things that are on you can
But imagine a place in space where snob fighters are fighting with mags, Madness, and you have to put them back in the ship. Do you want to transport them elsewhere, for example? With only a limited ability of range or something.
I'll wait and see what the Titan suit is that these guys are kind of like potentially doing, because they talk about being drivable. So I'll wait until I see what that is.
Avatar style, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I spoke about it before many times actually, back in the day, with comparing, Avatar-esque type of Titan suit, kind of, that kind of mech warrior type thing which makes sense. I mean, again, it's in Alien, it's in Avatar. It makes total sense for Star Citizen to have a sweet mech suit. They've already going to do it, so I'm curious who it's going to be manufactured by. Do we know? Does anyone know?
I think this could be an Aegis thing, you know what I mean?
Aegis? Yeah, the manufacturer would be cool. I'd like to know who the manufacturer, or if it's a new manufacturer. again, it's
Maybe
always
a
cool.
luxury version from Origin, you know what I mean?
Can you imagine a luxury mech suit? What that would look like?
You know, it looks like a proper suit, like a 3-piece suit, and it pops out a cigar on the side that you can smoke and a bottle of wine.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? They're like a Butler edition, the Butler edition mech
Oh,
suit
God.
for your 890 jump.
600 or 890 jump, like R2D2 kind of thing.
Basically, you're just basically talking about an Iron Man suit with like a tie and a
Yeah.
you know.
We're going on a
giles.
roll here now, though. I think my brain is going on a roll there. You could have many purposes for this, you know. As we said, the stripper pole that comes out of the the billiards table.
Let's have a look at the link. I'll have a look at the link. So.
You know what I mean? Katy Perry coming down on the pool table on the 600i, saying, "Hello, it's me."
And then put a picture up. Oh, I'm moving things around again for some reason. Mech suits. There's loads of cool mech suits. There's the mech suit. There's so many good designs out there for mech suits and stuff. Personally, I don't really want them to be. I'd want to see
Fallout
cargo. That's what I loved about the Alien movie. You know, they didn't go walking in with the mech suit on, with machine guns attached to it, blowing up aliens. They went in with, you know, they had a little bit attached to them, and it was still about the human side of it. And the mech
more
suit
an
was
exosuit.
cargo.
That's what you're saying, right? More an exosuit than a mech suit.
Yeah, and they've already got that on the heavy armor and stuff. You know, the heavy armor is almost getting into this type of suity type of thing.
I think what you say, man, is, and I totally agree with you there. Having that as a, and I don't know if it was, I don't want to send out spoilers, but was it the Expanse where they're loading the ships? They have this sort of not full on mech, but sort of a thing on that makes them easier to pick up the crates.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
move them around. That's what I love to see, where you can still see the whole body is still exposed, but they're just moving it around with like maybe joysticks, and you can still see everything.
I've seen
like
people,
like Fallout, you know what I mean?
I've seen people using like cool, like kind of like things that you attach to the side of things, and it makes them anti-gravity, and then they just push them around because they're really easy to move around and stuff. There's loads of cool things that you can do for transport, but if you want to go down that kind of like retro future, which seems to be the kind of the flavor that Chris kind of tends to go for sometimes, is the retro future thing, then an alien mech kind of, you know, that type of thing seems to make sense to me.
I see what you mean, definitely.
Anyone got Anthem suits are cool? Yeah, totally. I completely agree, Madhouse. I love the Anthem stuff. I'm very excited to see more of Anthem. That's the Mass Effect game that should have been. It's the best way to describe that game. I'm excited to see more aliens. Oh, okay, let's we've got like 15 minutes, so let's talk about Citizen Con then. And let's chat about what our hopes are for Citizen Con in terms of
Squadron 42.
What we'd like to see,
likely.
And questions. You know, we can have questions continue if you guys want to, but we'll talk about Citizen Con as well, and what the dreams and the hopes are for Citizen Con this year. Are we going to see
3.0 release?
yeah, for sure. That's a definite. Yeah, we all want that, definitely.
It would be a good one if you would just come out and say, boys, we fucking fooled you. We've been working our asses off, but here's 3.0.
Oh, dude. Do you know what would be amazing if, like, next week they suddenly went, guess how many blockers we've got, guys? 12. Can you imagine, like, the shit would be like, everyone would be like, oh, well, we're nearly there, but everyone would lose their shit if they suddenly said, yeah, we've only got 12. And then,
that's the problem that we have.
Or then on the following week, let's say like next week they said, like, yeah, we've got 60, and then the following week they said, oh, yeah, guys, it's going to Ivakari. We'll be like, what?
Well, you saw in the ATV that it's holding up other departments as well. You know, the mission guys only had I think it was an 85% or an 80% completion of the missions, because the other 20% was held up by blockers. You know what I mean? Blockers that were game mechanic related. You know what I mean? So you see the snowball effect that a blocker can have. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of respect for these guys, and I think the ATV last Thursday made it a bit more clear how much of a snowball effect such a blocker can have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many bugs and stuff. I mean, do you guys think we'll get a trailer for Squadron 42? Oh, like say for example a new improved kind of Gary Oldman style trailer with maybe a bit more kind of action from a Vandal type of thing, like a pre-recorded video, or will it be a live demo, do you think, of Squadron 42?
You know what it is? I'm not really excited. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not really super excited. I'm more excited for Persistent Universe MMO than I am for Squadron 42 at the moment. I don't know how you guys
Cat
feel about
Campbell.
Fucking gams.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime, baby. I'll give you my number.
that. Yeah, we can do it all four together if you want.
Yeah, you're going to be hurting though,
There you
Gamble.
go.
I got stamina, baby.
Because I would take that Dutch Canadian out any day, Gams. Lekker hoor. Oh man,
Brilliant.
no. But I'm more.
You just got to be
excited
careful.
for-
He's in your daddy. You don't want to mess with that.
Oh,
Yeah, true,
oh,
true.
I know exactly what that's like. He's on edge. That's
He's
why he's
on
still
edge,
awake
yeah.
now. He's probably wide awake now, holding a crying baby. Go to sleep. Listen to these guys. They'll send you to sleep, sweetheart. No.
Aye. Coming back on where we were, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm more excited for the whole MMO part than I am for the Squadron 42. I think it's a nice intro to it all. But
Oh, it
I
sets
want to make my own
everything.
gameplay.
It sets everything off though. Squadron 42 is essential.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
like
does. I
it's
agree,
the it's
definitely
the
does.
it's the firework. It's like literally just sets the whole game. Without Squadron 42, it just doesn't, like, all that lore, all that hard work that everyone's done for creating
Yeah,
it
definitely.
will be showed off beautifully in the storytelling and the story.
You know what I'm afraid of, Madness?
You're gonna be mad when I say I'm not that hyped about 42.
No, me neither. But you know why, man?
will be
I'm
when
not.
That's good. That's probably good. Keep it low. Keep it low.
So-
It's good.
Imagine-
I will enjoy playing it, but it's not like I would
No.
rather have more SC stuff than
Yeah.
42.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What you're gonna get as well, Madness. So imagine you get Squadron 42 on your table, yeah.
Yeah.
You play through the Squadron 42 shit. Let's say maybe a week, 2 weeks, you got the whole
Exactly,
storyline
yeah.
finished, and then you're again waiting for the persistent universe. You know what I mean? Because it's a very story-driven game, so you can't really make your own gameplay in Squadron 42. So you're still gonna be waiting at the end of it for. And although I'm excited to see what it's gonna be, I'm more excited for PU, as Drone says. You know what I mean? I wanna be out there in the verse, developing my character. You know, have that progression of the character instead of this is Pete. Pete is fighting for the UEE. Pete is going to do all different things. You know what I mean? And then still at the end you think, and now I want to make my own character. You know, now I want.
Yeah, I want to forge my own path. I don't.
You forge your own path.
I mean, I will definitely play 42. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against it, but my priorities lean more towards the PO.
I'm look. The reality is the playability for me, and the will be, you know, the replayability and the fun and all the exploration will come from the PU. There's no question. That's the most exciting part. However, the tone of the game will be set. I want to see the stories. I want to get that good storytelling. Good storytelling is essential for a fun game. I mean, if I look at some of the old original Mass Effects and all those kind of games, the story is key for me, and understanding the story, and then that will set off the
intro.
missions so that they have even more feeling, and it will enable the mission givers and the storytelling that comes from the missions. You'll be able to have even more richness from those stories, because Miles may be in Squadron 42, or maybe there could be, I don't know how it works, but they might be able to have threads of characters going off into the PU where you've formed a bond from Squadron 42, and then when you then see them in the PU, you know, there's something's happened to them, or there's a difference there, and you know, I
see that.
It
I see that. It's
creates-
definitely an intro to the PU. You know, I think that's what Chris said as well. But I don't want to then be waiting again after that. You see where I'm coming from, man. I think most of the things in the verse will eventually make sense when we play Squadron 42, or will evolve from what happened in Squadron 42. I want, as Drone said, I want to make my own progression. I want to make my own path, you know. And I still love to play, but I think there's going to be a big gap in between those two games eventually, maybe because we're going to be waiting again after Squadron 42. And I think the hype is going to die down a lot quicker in Squadron 42, as it is a story-driven storyline with maybe, I don't know how many hours of gameplay they're going to put into it, but it has a limited hours of gameplay because there is a driven storyline. It's not like, it's an open world, you know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. It's a story-driven storyline with a certain amount of hours, which at the end of it, you're done with it. You could play it again, the same stuff, you know what I mean? But
I'm just laughing at that comment. That's right.
That would be a good one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can we get Toby involved in that as well? You know,
we should do like a full bondage session. Sounds fun. I'm all for it. I bring my mask with me.
Suit, you know.
I got a couple masks I can bring with me. I got a safe word as well. I can bring that. I'll tell you guys.
Oklahoma.
Later.
That's always useful.
Oklahoma is a safe word.
What are you talking about? That was a safe word with you. I got a new one now.
Oh, yeah.
That one didn't work. That safe word. You ignored it too much. I almost suffocated.
Don't tell everyone on stream.
Yeah, no, like I said, Squadron 42 for me is essential. I mean, think of the actors that are in Squadron 42 and how much do we want to see. You know,
definitely, I totally agree with you. I think the limitation of gameplay is going to be, you know, you will be finished with, and that's what I'm a bit afraid of. And maybe I shouldn't think about it that way, but I think like, okay, then I'm super high for Squadron 42. Then I have only a limited amount of hours of gameplay, and afterwards I'm still waiting for the MMO release, you know what I mean? And maybe maybe I'm taking it in the wrong way, you know. Maybe I should just embrace it and for what it is. But
I think about it this way, so
be more hyped and more like.
Yeah, I'm getting you. I don't want to get you too excited. Keep the level down, but I'm just saying. But just imagine, like, okay, they could have your character could have lasting decision makings that you make, and I hope they do this. I really do. The decisions that you make within Squadron 42 could have lasting implications for mission giving to a degree within the persistent universe. It doesn't have to be something that couldn't be maybe reversed.
With how many backers do we have?
I don't know. Like, I'm just saying.
So you would have
your reputation, for example, might be really low with somebody, and then you have to build that reputation back over time. So you could have like if you go say do Squadron 42, and it could be a mission in there where you maybe have to do something that you're uncomfortable with as part of the UEE. But, you know, I love that about Fallout, for example. Fallout is a fantastic game at having this ability to make you have to make really hard decisions. Like, do you go with the Brotherhood? Do you go with the Enclave? Do you go with the so-and-so? And there are times where you go, I kind of want to go with all of them because they're all I kind of agree with all of them, or they're all dickheads and I hate them all, but I have to choose somebody. And it's like, there's that difficult scenario where you have to choose someone. And I think that would be a cool part of Squadron 42, where if they made it so you had to choose a faction or a standing to start with. It's not permanent. Like, you can go back again and fix it, but it would be it would start you off in a certain way. That would be very cool.
I thought you meant like the ending of it, and then but how are you going to cater to millions of people's endings? You know, but I see what you mean. I think the reputation thing might be a good one to carry over on your account. Your MMO character, definitely,
And it leaves something, you know, that you can't. You'd have to work hard to get it back again. I mean, I'm all for like permanent decision making as well. So, say for example, there's a mission in Squadron 42, and you murdered somebody, killed somebody, brutally murdered them or something. You don't get to see that mission giver in the persistent universe because you've killed them. You maybe get maybe you get a different mission giver because you've chosen to go down the dark side, and you get access to that mission giver only, and you don't get access to the other mission giver. That would be cool too. That would be
that needs to be reputation orientated, because that would mean that someone else would see that person in the game and you wouldn't, and that would be strange because me and Drones could be in the same room. And Drones can see the guy and I cannot see the guy. So that would break the gameplay. So you would have to do it like, okay, this guy doesn't like me, so he doesn't give me any mission. So it would be very reputation-based, I think, you know. You see what I mean, man?
Yeah, no.
My love.
I very much, I do like to take, like Chav says, I want it to be like Destiny 2. I don't want it to be Destiny 2, but I want it to take the best parts of other games. And take that and then kind of plug that in. There are some good bits from other games, from Fallout and from other, and I look at these games. These games are like, you know, the top games. You were talking like the most played games, the most favorite games by people. When you say them, when I talk to other gamers and I say, "What did you think of Fallout 3?" You know, everyone's like, "Yeah, I played Fallout 3. I love that game." Blah blah blah, and so on and so on. And there's a reason for that. You know, there's their part. The storytelling in almost all of these games is sensational. That's one of the things that is so key to Star Citizen, is the storytelling. Right then, boys. We're gonna wrap it up now. So I'm just gonna do very quick.
A quick one. Did I miss anything? No, those were the only ones that we had as well.
I think that's the only questions. There's a few questions in Discord, which we've got. So I think we're good. Wrap it up quick. So what's everyone got planned for the rest of their week?
Let the guest start.
Go for it, Drones. What are you doing? When you streaming?
Working and
Where can
streaming.
people find you?
I'll be back on twitch.tv/DrDronez. I'll be back streaming Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Yeah,
that's it.
Probably Star Citizen. Yeah. And then Friday night at 9. And then Saturday, and then back to Monday. That's pretty much my standard schedule. It's on the page.
Cool.
Nice.
But drop by, guys.
Cool.
Lots
Check
of
him
fun.
out. Hit him a follow, boys. If you haven't hit that, follow DrDronez. Go check him out. He's an awesome streamer. Sol, what about yourself?
It's going to be a bit more quiet this week as I'm waiting for the delivery of a new steering wheel. Otherwise, I will be doing some more Star Citizen. I'm obviously also still in the setting up my own business in graphic design. So I've picked that up this week and I'm going to put a bit more time in that. And as that ball gets rolling a bit, I will be able to stream a bit more consistent than I am now. And have a bit of security at the end of the day. But I will definitely not tomorrow, not Wednesday. If it will be Thursday, Friday. That I will be streaming some Star Citizen. So definitely come and check it out. Yeah, that was mine. It's a bit tricky for the upcoming week, 2 weeks. It's going to be hard for me to say I'm going to do this or this, as it could be anything.
Thanks a lot, Hot Rod Stretch. No problem. Thank you for coming in. For everyone that's come in tonight, really appreciate it, guys. If you haven't followed Solitary Report as well, go check him out. He streams a bit of a mix. He's got racing as well in his blood these days. Now he's got his new that new steering wheel and pedals and all sorts of stuff.
Definitely come and check it out. We have a complete racing cockpit, and we have a camera for the pedals, so you can see what I do with the pedals. And we'll be doing iRacing, and I will be trying to progress through the ranks and become an iRacing pro. Basically, that's the whole idea behind it. But it's very cool to see me fail and fuck up, because that's mostly what you see at the moment.
Nice. I'm just going to post this last link from somebody that's just sent it through to me, which is for you, Drones. This is a Cutlass Red and Dragonfly rescue operation. So I posted it in there if you've seen it before. Anyone that hasn't, that looks pretty cool. So this week I will be streaming as much as I can do. I do have some crazy deadlines with the shoe designing business that I do. As anyone knows, I design shoes for a living. So I have got to do tomorrow. The stream normally is in the morning, but it might end up having to be an afternoon stream. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter, and you have Twitter, I definitely recommend following me on that, because I post if streams are cancelled and things like that, or if I'm moving the times around, because I work from home, so things have to be flexible. But I usually stick to like my morning schedule. I will be streaming this week, and then I have my Friday diner special, which I usually do on the afternoon, which is just like a kind of a chill out. I let people from the stream, you guys can come and join me, jump in Discord, and we can just fly around and just do stupid things. We can dogfight, you can ask me questions and train and fight me, and I'll fight you and probably kill you, and if you're really good you might kill me. All that good stuff, basically. Sharing kind of like you know all these kind of good stuff. So yeah, that's me. So yeah, thank you for everybody that's followed this evening, all the new hosts, all the new followers. Really love you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We will be doing another podcast next week. I believe we're going to have some more special guests. We always try to get some good guests. We've got
we have some special guests coming up on next week Monday.
Keep watching the show, boys. We've got some. We're going to hope we have targeted some very cool guests. We have a few people that we really want to try and get on, who we are pressing to try and get on. I'm not gonna. Yeah,
Drones here.
So it's great having all these guys, Drone, everyone guests, but we have some. We're trying to get some more CIG guys onto the show. We've had Sean before. We've had there's a few others we want to get on. It's tricky to get them on, the American guys, because of the time zone, because obviously it's their working day. But we've got a couple, hopefully from the UK, we might be able to get. So keep posted, keep watching us. We're and thank you so much for all you guys. You guys educate me as much, so I love you guys so much. So anyway, let's find someone to host. Let's find somebody to host. You guys
I was looking through the directory, and the webcams are scarce today.
We've got Red Lears on.
Playing other games. I would say throw to Red.
Yeah, let's throw to Red. He popped in earlier.
Some Grey Bear love.
All right, well, so I don't have any raidy stuff set up unless anyone's got any bombs they want to kind of throw down as an addicted.
Just talk a lot of shit when you get into his channel. He loves that.
I don't think I've got
the dirtier the better. The dirtier the better, people.
Yeah, we'll just say, oh, just sod it. We'll just say Addicted Podcast Raid. All right, guys. Peace out. Have a good night. Thank you for coming.
See you in the verse.
See you in the verse. There we go. I think we're gone. Thanks, Drones. I'm shit with that stuff, man.
Yeah, whatever.
I've always been crap with that stuff. I need to work on it. Is it working? Did we get the raid in?
Yep.
Sweet. Good stuff.